news. Now, the latest from KIRO Newsradio and MyNorthwest.com.
Good morning. I'm Katrina Gashard, filling in for Manda Factor. All evacuation levels tied to the Spokane complex fire have now been lifted. Officials say remaining evacuation orders for the Old Trails Road and Autumn Lane ended at 2 p.m. yesterday. But they warn fire danger is still high and damaged homes and buildings may also be unsafe to enter. Seattle's interim police chief says investigators are still working to determine whether a third suspect was involved in last month's deadly Bite of Seattle shooting. The shooting last month left 3 people dead and 4 others injured. A 15-year-old boy was arrested. A man who drove a stolen Mini Cooper off the Edmonds Ferry dock in June of 2025, killing 2 passengers, will spend nearly 7.5 years in prison. And we now know a person living at a Spanaway home is under arrest for arson, and it's the same property where a man was found shot to death just on Monday night. 2 people were displaced, and the shed where the victim was found was not damaged. Now let's get a check on the roads with KIRO News Radio's Chris Sullivan.
Off to a good start, Katrina, on this Wednesday morning. No issues in the way. We've got green across the map and 35-minute trips between our major destinations. That's all it's going to take from Olympia to Tacoma, and then Federal Way on up into Seattle. About 35 as well. Tacoma is quiet. Most of Pierce County is as well. Valley Freeway, no issues there. 35 minutes for you guys, nice and easy. And Renton to Bellevue's only 15. Across the lake, we've got no problems. Coming down from the north end, just some slight hesitation right around the Boeing Freeway on southbound 5. Again, just primarily in the ramp there, but nothing too significant. 35 minutes from Everett to Seattle or Everett to Bellevue. 18 and 16 looking good. KIRO News Radio Real-Time Traffic. I'm Chris Sullivan.
Seattle's morning news. Always live, always connected. Stream, watch, subscribe, and share at MyNorthwest.com.
On this morning's edition of Start Here, ABC's Catherine Folders details reporting on President Trump's secret flight switch. Here's host Brad Milkey.
Protecting the president comes with kind of dueling responsibilities. Like, on one hand, if you're the Secret Service, you want to do whatever you can to protect the commander-in-chief, right? That is your priority. But you've also got to balance all that with the job of being the president. As much as bodyguards would love for you to stay in a bunker, a head of state also needs to be able to conduct business, to meet with the public he represents. It's tough to say you're answerable to the people if none of the people are allowed to see you or know where you are. Well, about a month ago, you might remember this big trip President Trump made to Turkey for a NATO summit. Strangely, he flew in on one plane, this new Air Force One model donated by Qatar, but he was also said to be leaving on a different plane, the old model. Well, this week, the Washington Post published a jaw-dropping story claiming that President Trump wasn't actually on the plane, that there was an operation to ferry him to safety in the face of an assassination plot, and that for a brief while, much of the world had no idea where he was. Well, overnight, President Trump confirmed this happened.
I just have to do what they say. They go for safety, and I have to do what they say.
Start today with ABC's D.C. managing editor, Catherine Folders, who's been chasing all this down. Catherine, can you just walk me through the reporting on this?
So this is pretty remarkable. Remember, this was the day where he was expected to depart NATO. Trump was in Turkey. This was early last month. And then in the morning, Eastern time, our time, in the morning, the president posted a message on his social media account. He said that actually he would be flying the old Air Force One, you know, that one we're so familiar with seeing, because he's going to send that new plane, that Qatar gifted plane, to an Air Force base in the UK because he was going to let service members tour it. Now, that set into motion a bunch of questions at the time with the troops on the ground. They said, well, wait a second. Okay, are we going there? Is he flying on that plane? Is he flying on the Air Force One? Our Michelle Stoddard was the pool representative on the plane at the time. And I remember we were asking her questions. Well, what does this mean?
Right.
What plane is Trump flying on? We learned that the old Air Force One would fly to link up with the new plane in the UK at that Air Force base. And then they would do a little plane switch. The president would move from one plane to the other. And then they would be on their way back to the US via the new plane, the Qatar plane. Okay. So now the pool's on the plane. They say wheels up, wheels down, all of that standard operating procedure that we see when you travel with the president. Well, according to the Washington Post, we come to find out that actually Trump wasn't even on that plane. There's a third plane involved. Now, that was another plane that happened to be behind, off to the side of Air Force One. And here's what happened. You see Trump get on the stairs of the aircraft The press pool's on the ground, on the tarmac. They see him get on. The press pool boards. And then an unusual thing happens when they're on the plane. They're told to keep their windows down.
Do you know why they had us close our window blinds? That was not usual.
And we had known, Brad, at the time, like there were threats from Iran. Trump was saying that.
They want to take out the U.S. leader, me. I'm on every list. I saw a thing this morning. I'm on every single one of their lists.
And we knew, given the proximity to Iran, there were threats, there was this and that. So it was unusual, but it didn't seem so unusual in the moment, just given where they were, right?
Okay.
And the state of the war. So what we come to learn from the Post is that actually he wasn't on that plane at all. He boarded the steps, and you can see from the pool footage a catering cart. Now, the cart, imagine we're all at the airport, and it's the cart that's affixed to the plane that you load food and beverages from. There is a catering container on the exact opposite side of the plane. So imagine if you and I are just walking through the front door of a plane, and you just walk directly to the other side and get out. That's what happened here. So what the president did in secrecy is get on the plane and then actually got into that container from the food catering truck. The cart went down, and then you could see it drive away. Now, any observer would think, well, I guess they've loaded the food and beverage and the cart is going away. Well, it was actually an operation, according to the Washington Post, this clandestine operation to move the president out of view of everyone, except for surely some Secret Service agents and a select group of staff, from one plane to the other plane, out of view without the knowledge of the press or, frankly, anybody else, most people.
Wait, and so this would be like there's sort of a convoy, a caravan. He is in a plane, just not the one that any of the reporters are on and that anyone knows about. Why, Catherine? You mentioned tensions with Iran. Was that the concern here?
Yes, it was. And our reporting at the time was that he wasn't flying on the Qatar plane because of the escalations with Iran. Of course, we didn't know this at the time. We didn't know that it went a step further. But yes, threats to his life, and that presumably the Secret Service assessed that there was enough of a threat to move him from, by the way, one of the world's safest aircrafts to a different one,
right?
So that he wouldn't be a target, if you will, so that he wouldn't be flying on that plane. And what is so remarkable about this is Air Force One goes wheels up. When the plane lands at the Air Force Base, Air Force One, which we think Trump is on, he descends the stairs in view of the press.
Oh.
So he
got back on the plane somehow?
He sure did. Now it's unclear exactly how he got on. We don't know that. The Post doesn't detail it in their account. I would presume it was a similar method, but he got back on and then descends the stairs. So there would be no reason to believe, as a normal traveler with the president and the White House press pool, to believe that he wasn't on the plane.
Well, and has something like this happened before? Like, I'm trying to figure out how to interpret this, because on one hand, clearly you want to protect the president. That's the priority, especially when you're going overseas, right? On the other hand, it seems like if there was a threat big enough to make the president go into hiding, that shouldn't take a month to come out. Like, that seems like an important thing for the public to be aware of, or maybe even the people on that plane to be aware of at some point.
Yeah, and typically, Brad, when this happens, so I'm thinking about an example with Bill Clinton in 2000. Something like this similarly happened where the press pool thought he was on the plane, and then when they landed at the location with the tarmac, the president actually descended a different staircase. So it was known.
Okay, so that sort of thing has happened. The switcheroo thing has happened before.
It has, and it's surely a method, sure, that the Secret Service uses. Very, very rare. And of course, there's always operational security concerns. They're always maneuvering, and there's diversions, always. What is very strange here is that with the Clinton example, the press pool were privy to what was going on. Obviously, it would not report it until it was safe. And of course, they saw Bill Clinton go down, and I believe Clinton's White House aides at the time had spoken about it. In this case, we're only finding out because the Washington Post reported it.
So you're saying there wasn't a security concern?
No. Why would
And we're only finding out a month later. So it does beg the question, Brad, how significant was the security threat, whether it be to the president, to Air Force One? How significant was it to evacuate the president out of the other side of the plane?
Right, and exactly. And if you're so convinced that Iran might be able to blow up the safest plane in the world, and you're still willing to have the reporters on there and the service members who fly that plane. It just seems like an absolutely wild story from the Washington Post. Catherine Falders, thank you for breaking it down for us.
Thanks, Brad.
2 days after a 7.4 earthquake rocked towns across entire regions in the South American nation, the death toll is well up past 200. And here's the problem. Much of Colombia's most populated cities sit in the more mountainous western half of that country, which is where all the seismic action would usually take place. That is where rescues are happening right now. And actually, today we're going to do something different. Usually we're talking to our correspondents in hotel rooms or in cars, a quiet place. Our team is in the country, and they are on the scene of an active rescue right now. That is where we find ABC's Faith Abube in Cali, Colombia. Faith, I know it's noisy there, but you're going to sort of guide us through this crowd that you're in right now. Can you just describe what you're seeing on the ground?
I mean, it's remarkable what we're in the middle of right now. Just a show of the human spirit, a show of determination, and a show of how these rescuers refuse to give up. Where we are right now is Southern Cali, where there's a concrete building that has multiple floors that has collapsed into a mountain of debris here. It's right next to a school. First, the rescue operations began because people thought there were children trapped under this debris. It's unclear if that's true, but rescuers have been working nonstop. Around me right now are hundreds and hundreds of people from the community. They came here with their buckets, with hard hats, and they're using their bare hands to dig through this concrete to try to rescue people. We heard that earlier today they were able to pull some people out. A few of them were alive, but others unfortunately did not make it. We also came across a gentleman who has been here showing his photos to people who are walking around here just to see whether they've seen his family members. There are 4 relatives who he believes are trapped underneath this rubble right now, so he's here helping out. I mean, a lot of people are here not because they have relatives who are trapped, but they know the feeling of losing someone or not knowing where your loved one is. So they've dropped everything, grabbed whatever they can, and they're here to help dig through this debris of steel and concrete. There are also people here who have bottles of water, and they're giving them out to rescuers, some refreshments, just anything they can. There are chaplains here to help with the emotional toll that this is having on people. As I mentioned, we heard that at least one body was pulled from the rubble today. Every few minutes, we're hearing people here tell us to stay quiet, tell all the hundreds of people here to remain quiet. And what that means is they've heard something and they want to make sure they can hear the survivors who are trapped underneath so they know exactly where to dig, Brad.
Unbelievable. In fact, if you can hear me, when you look around the entire country, do you have a sense of the death toll at this point and just how many people are still unaccounted for?
Well, the death toll has skyrocketed since this began. When we woke up on Tuesday morning, it was about 160-something. By the end of the day, it was well over 200. The extent of the devastation, the extent of the death toll, the missing, the injured has yet to be counted, has yet to be realized. This is going to take a while because, again, the rescue efforts are still underway. They're hoping that they can actually still find survivors. We know earlier on Tuesday, the foreign minister of Spain said more than 164 of his nationals were missing.
Oh, wow.
We don't know whether they've been found. There are a lot of relatives who are here, just from one country. We don't even know how many Colombians are missing at this point, and we're just in one area of the country where this happened. And just to remind you, this quake was felt not just here in Colombia, but in at least 3 other countries that border Colombia.
And it's safe to say, Faith, that Cali is not the only sort of populated city center. Cali's a big city within Colombia, but that's not the only one that's been affected like this.
Oh, definitely. One of the other hard-hit cities is Pereira. That is where the governor was yesterday. On Tuesday, he went to survey the damage there and also just look over the rescue operations. He was in Cali the day before on the day of the earthquake to see what was happening here. So, I mean, it's all hands on deck. It's just unbelievable, the number of people who are literally crowding this area right now. Just think about Times Square and just the volume of people who are there in the middle of the streets, except these people have hard hats on, except these people have masks on, except they have gloves, they have buckets, and they're digging and sweating, and they've been here for hours and hours.
Everybody wants to help. And that's the thing. You see everybody here, just they want to help. They want to help. There's some people that have family members that are trapped under there. and you see them on the top.
We actually came across a gentleman who actually came here with a church group from California, Josh Martinez, who was part of this rescue operation on Tuesday afternoon. And he was just telling us how just emotional everything has been.
Unbelievable. All right, and I am hearing chatter behind you, so I don't want to keep you too long, especially if they find another survivor. So we'll leave it there. Faith Abube on the ground in Cali. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Brian.
For your KIRO News radio forecast, we have some low clouds this morning, then some sunshine this afternoon with slightly cooler weather. Thunderstorms could pop up in the mountains and east of the Cascades. Highs today will be close to 75. Right now, it's about 59 in downtown Seattle. Coming up, new debt milestones across the U.S. More on ABC's Start Here next. I'm Katrina Gashard. You're listening to KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with a KIRO Newsradio App. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO Newsradio Northwest News.
This hour of Seattle's Morning News is brought to you by Closets by Design Seattle.
Charlie Harger.
I want to be a watchdog.
From Seattle's Morning News.
Somebody who is not accepting from the government at face value what they're telling you. I might not even be necessarily against a politician, but if I see an issue or a policy that I think are worthy of a conversation, I'm going to bring it up.
Hear Charlie's 7:35 commentary every morning on Seattle's Morning News.
You can watch all of Charlie's commentaries anytime on the KIRO Newsradio YouTube channel.
Summertime means sunshine, baseball games, beach trips, hiking, and more. So don't let your bank stop you from having fun. Free checking at WaFd Bank is the way to go. There are no minimum balances or monthly maintenance fees to worry about. Plus, you'll get spending tools and the latest technology to help you stay on budget. Not only is WaFd Bank rated a best bank, we have more than 200 branches to serve you across 9 western states, so you have access wherever you are. Visit wafdbank.com to open your account. Additional fees may apply. Member FDIC.
The IRS finally caught up with Louie.
I hadn't paid my taxes in 8 years. I owe the IRS a lot of money.
Louie was in deep trouble.
We're going to take your house, put a lien on your bank account, garnish your pay. They don't care. They're going to take your paycheck.
Louie found out about Optima Tax Relief, the leading tax resolution firm. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, they've resolved over $3 billion for their clients.
Optima Tax, they help me. They calm me down. They make me feel comfortable, and I trust them.
Louie has a lot to be thankful for.
I don't owe the IRS anymore, and I'm able to live a comfortable life, a lot better life. It was because of Optima Tax.
For tax help you can trust, call Optima now for a free consultation. Take it from Louie.
If you owe the IRS, don't go it alone. Give Optima Tax a call. They can help you.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Is your car's AC blowing warm air? Don't sweat it. Right now, save $50 on any AC service at Bucky's Complete Auto Repair. Honest pricing, guaranteed work, 16 family-owned locations, and no appointment needed. Stay cool this summer. Buckys.com.
Hartley Wilcox here. Do you know where your food comes from? If it's perishable, you should read the package. Wilcox Farms eggs are locally fresh from Washington. For the freshest choice, choose Wilcox Family Farms.
All right, I'm talking with Phil Mitchell, who is a new buddy, and he's also an advertiser on the show. Phil, I'm really interested in people's stories. You have a pretty amazing background. You own Sunset Auto Family. You employ a lot of people. You do great business in the community, but you started at the bottom. Tell me a little bit about that.
Jake, I started in the car business as a lot attendant, basically washing cars with a hose and soap and water, and just happened to, be in the right position at the right time, started selling cars and did pretty good at that and became a sales manager. And I've had a lot of great mentors that have helped me and guided me. And so now it's my turn to be a mentor and try to do the same thing for somebody else.
That's fantastic. How many years have you been in this business now?
I've been in a long time, so I know every inch. I've done just about every job you can do in it. It's a family business. My son's in the business. He runs one of the stores.
Well, let me tell you what. I got 4 sons. One of them is looking for a job in about 4 years.
Bring him down, buddy.
I'm going to send him to the Sunset Auto Family.
I got a hose and bucket. Let's go.
I love it. Go see him at Sunset Kia in Auburn, Sunset Ford, and Sunset Chevrolet in Sumner. You just get more at Sunset, and people do like that.
Seattle's Morning News on KIRO News Radio.
Back to the Start Here program, a look at the massive amount of credit card debt that the average American deal with.
This morning, U.S. authorities are set to put out the latest inflation data from the last month. And I'll tell you where at least some of that is coming from. It's coming from my grocery store. I came back from vacation and all the price tags have been replaced in the last week. My favorite strawberry jam went from $6 to $8. And even before we got those inflation numbers, we learned yesterday that Americans are buried in more credit card debt than ever before. So with that, let's go to ABC's Elizabeth Schulze. She covers economics. Elizabeth, let's start with prices. What are we expecting here?
The big picture, Brad, is that prices are still going in the wrong direction. Inflation is expected to go up at an annual rate of 3.4%. What does that mean? Prices are 3.4% higher compared to the same time last year. And that is about where we were the month before, but it is still above where you want to see in a healthy economy, which is typically closer to a 2% rate. When you think about what that means in terms of actual dollars spent, like that strawberry jam that you're buying at the grocery store, the typical household at the current inflation rate is spending about $245 extra every month to buy the same stuff that they were at this time last year. And that's really where you start to see it add up. And in any given month, Brad, we see certain products or services where prices went up more, and sometimes we see places where prices went down. The overall trend, when you look at groceries, which is one of the most salient places for people when they're thinking about their budget and their expenses, is that prices have gone up, pretty notably over the past couple of months. And when you look back over the last, 5 years, you've got grocery prices up 30%. That is a very big number when you're thinking about kind of those price gains each month adding up over time. When we're looking at this report, you're also looking at the impact of higher oil. Remember, oil had gone down, so that meant inflation was maybe getting better, but then it went back up with the latest escalation with the Iran war. So that can also show up in places like airfares or transportation costs. And then you kind of have the underlying higher costs in the economy, Brad, for places like services, medical care, childcare, some of those other day-to-day expenses that aren't really explained by the oil story that give economists and policymakers reason to worry that this inflation has kind of been sticking around for longer when those prices keep rising.
Well, and if those prices are rising, we also learned yesterday just how much credit card debt exists in this country. How high have these numbers gotten, and is that kind of related to the prices we're talking about?
It is absolutely related to the higher prices that you're paying, because think about it. When you're paying more, you're putting more on your card, credit card balances go up. And that number right now, Brad, is very big. $1.26 trillion in outstanding credit card debt in the U.S. We are just shy of the all-time high, which is $1.28 trillion. And we did see that number go up in the most recent quarter of the year.
Wow.
So that could reflect higher prices. Things cost more, so people's balances go up. It could also reflect the fact that people are just out spending more in the summer and these months. We do see, a lot of the data, Brad, shows resilient spending, even with higher prices. People are going on vacations and eating out and going on and buying concert tickets. And, that would also show up in a higher credit card number. But one piece of the credit card data that you really want to look at is how much of it comes down to people who are spending more on their cards but not actually paying off that debt. Because you've got about half of people who have credit cards paying off their balances in full every month. That's a sign of a healthy economy. The other half of people who are taking on debt and can't pay it off, that is more worrisome. And we have seen those delinquency rates, that's the technical term for people falling behind on their card payments, those rates have been going up. When we've asked researchers at the Federal Reserve Bank of New York that puts out these numbers about that, they say, yes, the rates are elevated, but they don't seem super worried about it at this point, but something to definitely keep watching,
Right.
especially as you see prices going up. Are people becoming too stretched and going deeper into debt?
Are jobs also a problem here? Because I just know last week's jobs numbers were super disappointing. Does that tell us anything about how people are potentially getting into debt as well?
Yeah, it always has to do with jobs too, Brad. And you know that because at the end of the day, if more people are not working, they have a much harder time absorbing these higher prices. And we saw 23,000 jobs lost in the month of July. That was not at all the expectation. Analysts had thought we would be adding about 80,000 jobs. There could be some quirks in the data that account for that. So, this is 1 month. We'll keep looking at kind of the hiring picture. As part of that, one thing we've seen, Brad, is that people's wages, people's salaries are not keeping up with inflation as inflation has accelerated. And that's a really important piece of this puzzle, because it's one thing if prices are going up and people's salaries and paychecks are going up too. If that's not happening, it becomes even harder to absorb.
Oh, it's not necessarily like people are getting laid off en masse, but they're also not moving their jobs. So then their salaries are staying stagnant, probably.
People are sticking around because they're worried they won't get a new job. And generally, when you're sticking around, you're not finding a new job, your wage gains can stagnate more too. Exactly.
Really interesting. All right. As we await these inflation numbers today, Elizabeth Schulze, thank you so much.
Thank you, Brad.
Have you ever heard of a watermark? These are the little logos on photos you might see from Getty or TMZ or ABC News. They're basically to make sure you can't just copy and paste a photo you don't own without giving credit to the people who do own it. But what about watermarks for the written word? Well, with AI programs pumping out literally hundreds of billions of words per day, we're going to start getting watermarks for those, too.
I mean, the classic maxim that I go back to all the time is like, why would I take time to read something that you couldn't take time to write?
This is ABC's Mike Dubusky, who covers tech, and he says Anthropic, the maker of the AI chatbot Claude,
we've actually trained Claude with something called a constitution.
Just put out a new tool, a digital watermark that you can use to tell when someone has just copied and pasted one of Claude's responses online.
This is basically a piece of specialized code that kind of is interwoven through an AI-generated piece of text.
Now, this is not because Claude wants credit for his words. It's because humans are getting more and more concerned that they can't tell what is and what is not being written by machines.
You can imagine people who are in publishing would be very interested in knowing if the things that are submitted to them are AI-generated or not.
Today, we are launching Claude for teachers.
In the education sphere, Brad, teachers would want to know if essays that they're reading were actually written by their students as opposed to Claude.
Claude.ai remains for 18-year-old users and above only.
The idea here is you could enlist programs to examine this code hidden within the text and see if that invisible watermark is there. But why is Anthropic leading the charge on this all of a sudden?
Well, in large part because they have to, Brad. Earlier this month, a new policy went into effect in the European Union called the AI Act, and does a bunch of different things. It's a kind of package of legislation, but specifically it fines companies that don't abide by new transparency requirements.
It's not just Anthropic. Google has been touting its own watermarking system. Substack says it's going to start examining essays for authors passing off AI-generated work as their own. Will it work, though?
I think there's a lot of loopholes here, which really underscore just how difficult this problem is.
Mike says students could just start using other programs to decode the watermarks. Tools for detecting chatbots still misidentify things, because that's the whole issue here in the first place. For all of its intelligence, AI often still gets it wrong. It's gotten so out of control. I was doing a good old-fashioned Google search just trying to get some backyard decorating ideas. Every single photo on some of these sites appeared to be AI generated. Like, I want watermarks just to shame people into admitting they're not even posting real photos anymore.
For your KIRO News Radio forecast, low clouds this morning will clear, and we're also watching for a chance for thunderstorms. Highs today will be in the mid-70s. Right now, it's about 59 in downtown Seattle. Coming up, Charlie Harger with a commentary why copper wire theft is not being taken seriously enough by law enforcement. I'm Katrina Gashard. You're listening to KIRO News Radio.
Hey there, Dawn Riley with Olympic Hot Tub. It's our 49th birthday, and we're celebrating by giving you the gifts. Outstanding savings on saltwater hot spring spas, free Bluetooth music, and interest-free financing for 3 years. Plus, exciting savings on endless pool swim spas, saunas, and cold plunges. How's that for a birthday to remember? Ends August 24th. OlympicHotTub.com. Better you, better life.
Olympic Hot Tub. Are you looking for the best deal on a new home? Discover the D.R. Horton Home of the Week. With new home communities from Lacey to Stanwood, ranging from the low 500s to the high 1 millions, D.R. Horton has the right home at the best value for you. Your new home is within reach, so what are you waiting for? Learn more about the D.R. Horton Home of the Week. Visit drhorton.com and schedule a tour today. D.R. Horton, America's builder. an equal housing opportunity builder.
KIRO News Radio has your chance to win 2 tickets to see Gabriel Iglesias live at Muckleshoot Casino Resort on Saturday, August 29th. Go to mynorthwest.com/win for contest rules and your chance to win. That's mynorthwest.com/win.
Seattle loves to celebrate. Big hits, touchdowns,
Seahawks!
and even parades. This city lives for Sunday. Get your tickets for Seahawks game days at Seahawks.com today.
How would you like to invest in the Seattle real estate market, one of the hottest and most stable regions in the country, and achieve a great rate of return on your investment without the effort of sourcing a deal, the expense and time of building permits, or all the hassles that come with being a landlord? Hi, I'm Scott Rureka, CEO of Legacy Group Capital in Bellevue. Legacy Group Capital develops local real estate, lends money, and shares the profits with our investors. Diversify with Legacy Group Capital. Invest into our Northwest Fund, which is currently delivering 9% on a fixed rate term. It's our flagship fund for 19 years with 0 investor losses. And yes, we do accept IRAs. Find out why 1,300 local investors have invested over $350 million.
Invest in the stability and ease of Legacy Group Capital's Northwest Fund. Legacy Group Capital at legacyg.com. This is not investment advice. Investments available to accredited investors only. Details at legacyg.com.
This summer, I'm driving the 2026 Subaru Forester Touring Hybrid from Carter Subaru. It is gorgeous. It's my first hybrid, and I'm loving the savings at the pump. And right now, during the Subaru A Lot to Love event, Carter Subaru has more than 800 vehicles in stock, including the 2026 Subaru Forester, starting at just 1.9% APR. Visit Carter Subaru in Ballard, Shoreline, or cartersubaru.com.
On approved credit, subject to vehicle insurance and availability. A documentary service fee may be added to the sale price or capitalized cost. See dealer for details. Valid through 8/31/26.
Holy smokes, I can see. Hey, everybody, it's Rick Riz, and I just had refractive lens exchange from K2 Vision, and it's amazing. K2 Vision RLE means no more readers or glasses for me. Plus, I'll never get a cataract. Now, when I call a game, you won't see those readers dangling from the end of my nose to see the field and then my notes. I only wish I had done it sooner. It's like seeing a whole new ball game. K2 Vision RLE was quick and painless, over in just minutes, and I knew I was in great hands. The K2 Vision RLE team has done over 150,000 lens procedures. You can trust their stuff. K2 Vision RLE is my permanent solution to a lifetime of great vision. It could be yours too. Enjoy life's good years without readers, glasses, contacts, or cataracts. Get your free Zoom consult now at K2VisionRLE.com. Then you can make the same call I did. Goodbye, glasses. K2VisionRLE.com.
Sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Protect your family, your phone, and your furry friends with life, electronic device, and pet health insurance.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good morning. I'm Katrina Gashard, filling in for Manda Factor. All evacuation levels tied to the Spokane complex fire have now been lifted, but officials are warning the fire danger is far from over. Spokane's health officer has signed an emergency order to speed the cleanup up. Dr. Francisco Velasquez says the order authorizes the EPA and FEMA to begin removing hazardous materials from fire-damaged properties.
Fire-damaged properties are automatically included, so cleanup can begin as quickly as possible, and unnecessary delays can be avoided. We want to be able to bring you back home.
He says homeowners don't need to take any action. Seattle's interim police chief says investigators are still working to determine whether a third suspect was involved in last month's deadly Bite of Seattle shooting. Councilmember Rob Saka questioned interim chief Andre Sales.
Is there a killer on the loose? Yes or no?
Speaking with my detectives this morning, we're combing through some warrants and looking at some things. We still have to comb through some video surveillance that was there. I can't say yes or no.
The shooting at Seattle Center last month left 3 people dead and 4 others injured. A 15-year-old boy was arrested. Como uncovered an internal email from a police spokesperson that accuses the city of spreading a false narrative. Detective Brian Pritchard says officials delayed a press conference to wait for dignitaries to arrive. Mayor Katie Wilson strongly denies anyone was asked to hold off releasing information. However, in that email, Pritchard says the mayor's version of events is simply not accurate. In Pierce County, a Spanaway man's body was found in a shed Monday night, and detectives are trying to figure out how he died and who killed him.
Pierce County Sheriff's officials say they were sent out here to do a welfare check, and when deputies arrived, they found a man around 60 years old on the floor of a shed in a backyard. Investigators say he appeared to have at least 2 injuries in his head, possibly gunshot wounds. Because of his injuries, they do not think these wounds were self-inflicted.
KIRO 7 TV's Madeline Audley also reports a person is under arrest for arson at the same property where the victim was found. Now let's get a check on the roads with KIRO News Radio real-time traffic with Chris Sullivan.
And we're doing well, Katrina. No problems out there. Nice and easy drives. 30 minutes, all you need. Olympia to Tacoma, 35 up Federal Way to Seattle. Have a little bit of braking here and there up the Valley Freeway, but we're under 40 minutes. Rented to Bellevue, no problems at a nice and easy 15 minutes. Lake bridges are fine. 35 minutes coming down from Everett to Seattle or Bellevue. KIRO News Radio real-time traffic. I'm Chris Sullivan.
For your KIRO News Radio forecast, we got some cloudy skies early this morning. It'll become partly cloudy later. Highs today will be about 50, or rather 75 degrees. Right now, it's about 59 in downtown Seattle. I'm Katrina Gashard. You're listening to KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with a KIRO News Radio app. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News. News matters. Experience counts. You're listening to Charlie Harger and Manda Factor, Seattle's morning news.
In Charlie's commentary yesterday, a look at why one copper wire thief is not getting full punishment for his crime. Here's Charlie.
$113.40. That's what the copper was worth at the recycler. The business it came from has lost more than $90,000 because of the theft. And the guy who allegedly did it just got bench warrant number 40. Let me back up. According to the charging documents, security cameras recorded 2 people arriving at an Eagle beverage warehouse in Kent around 6 a.m. on Christmas Day, 2024. They had bolt cutters. They had a powered hacksaw. They discussed having a better plan for removing the heavy gauge copper cables connecting a commercial generator to the building. They left on foot, came back in broad daylight in a Ford F-150, pulled those cables, loaded them up, and drove off. Eagle Beverage makes plastic cutlery for restaurants. They need that generator because PSE can't supply enough power for them. No cables, no generator, no production. We're told each day offline cost the company about $12,000, and they were dark for 6 operating days. And this was the second time Eagle's been hit. The first copper theft at the same warehouse had already cost them about $90,000. And this second theft in all set them about the same amount. Kent police matched the truck from security video through a flock camera that day. They were able to find it that afternoon, impounded it, then waited more than 2 months for a judge to approve the search warrant. When they finally got in, they found cable casing from the stolen lines. On the floorboard, a receipt from Valley Recycling in Pacific dated December 26. 36 pounds of copper at $3.15 a pound. So $113.40. And on the receipt, in handwriting, the license plate number for that Ford F-150. The thief made $113.40 for copper that cost a business more than $90,000 to recover from. Now, one thing worth saying, Valley Recycling did the right thing here. They recorded the plate number. They identified the seller and his passenger. They cooperated fully with Kent Police. That's exactly what prosecutors are asking every metal recycler in the state to do. Valley did it voluntarily. A lot of recyclers don't, and that's the gap. The fix is straightforward. King County prosecutors want to require metal recyclers to use the same online database pawn shops already use. Pawn shops record what they buy, who sold it, and hold the merchandise for a bit before selling it. Police can search it. The database exists. The model works. One bill. Now, the legislature ended the session without voting on it. I did a commentary on this earlier in the summer. The catalytic converter bill took 3 years to pass while everybody's Prius got gutted. When a law went into effect, the market dried up. Take away the buyer and the crime stops paying. Now the suspect. The charging documents show 39 bench warrants over the years for his arrest. Felony convictions for identity theft, stolen property, burglary, attempting to elude a pursuing vehicle, going back more than 2 decades. And oh yeah, he's about to turn 70 next month. 70. He was supposed to be arraigned yesterday on first-degree theft and first-degree malicious mischief. Guess what? He didn't show up for his court date. Prosecutors made a motion for a bench warrant, and this is, by my count, the 40th bench warrant he's had against him in his 70 years of life. $113.40 and a powered hacksaw. That's what $90,000 in damage costs to inflict.
That is the commentary from Tuesday, August 11th. You can find all of Charlie's commentaries at mynorthwest.com. Coming up, your political insights from ABC's Dave Packer. I'm Katrina Gashard. You're listening to KIRO News Radio.
Hello, sweltering Seattle. John Curley here. Is your home staying cool? Are you losing sleep because it's just too hot? At Home Comfort Alliance, the goal is not to sell you a new system. It's to fix the one that you have. Repair first, replace only if it truly makes sense, saving you time and money. If your system's done, a heat pump gives you both cooling and heating for year-round comfort. Get real pricing in 60 seconds at HomeComfortAlliance.com. Call the comfort people. Home Comfort Alliance.
What if you could have the most reliable fiber-powered Wi-Fi? And get this. What if you could keep it at the same price for 5 years guaranteed? Now through August 24th, new Xfinity customers can get our best price on gig Wi-Fi this summer before it disappears. Just $50 a month for 5 years. No annual contracts, no hidden fees, and our best equipment included. Plus, get online in minutes with same-day Wi-Fi. It's Wi-Fi that finds and fixes problems before you even notice them. Like super intelligent Wi-Fi with a sixth sense. Plus, it keeps you protected from online threats. And get Peacock Premium included for 2 years. Lock in your price and unlock the possibilities. Get it now at Xfinity.com. Xfinity. Imagine that. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and autopay with stored bank account. Taxes and fees extra. Speeds vary. Use of fiber coaxial cable. Learn more at Xfinity.com/same-day Wi-Fi.
Summer is for going big.
Julio! Dead center field, solo home run, 4-0 Mariners.
Summer is for showing out.
Crawford, out of the glove, Emerson to first. What a play!
Summer is for Mariners baseball.
Cal Raleigh with an RBI double. The big thumper comes through in the clutch.
Where else do you get 9 innings of eye-popping swings and snags? Plus fireworks that make your feet dance and your jaw drop. Oh yeah, and the guys have a dance of their own, a wind dance.
Party time at T-Mobile Park in the sunshine.
Mariners baseball. Tridents up.
The action continues at T-Mobile Park all summer long. Don't miss out on 2 great matchups later this month. Julio and the Mariners are squaring off in back-to-back interleague series against the Chicago Cubs, August 21st to 23rd, and the Philadelphia Phillies, August 24th to 26th. Get your tickets at mariners.com.
These are your political insights from ABC News. Voters in 6 states Tuesday choosing candidates for November. In South Carolina's special Senate primary, Darlene Graham will face Ralph Norman in a Republican runoff later this month. She reflected on the seat held for decades by her late brother, Senator Lindsey Graham, and her support from the White House.
I want to thank President Trump, his steadfast support, and his complete and total endorsement means so much to me.
To Minnesota, where ABC News projects Senator Amy Klobuchar wins the Democratic governor primary. And on the Republican side, ABC News projects Lisa Damuth wins the Minnesota gubernatorial primary, besting MyPillow founder Mike Lindell, who's having trouble accepting defeat.
When you're favored 3 days ago by 9 points, this is mathematically, it looks impossible.
In Connecticut, 47-year-old Luke Bronin, former mayor of Hartford, defeating John Larson seeking his 15th term in Congress. Dave Packer, ABC News.
For your KIRO News Radio forecast on this Wednesday morning, we've got some low clouds to start the day. We'll have partly cloudy skies this afternoon with highs in the mid-70s. Right now, it's about 59 in downtown Seattle. Coming up, KIRO News Radio's Chris Sullivan with a choke point looking at the roundabout construction happening along Highway 2. That's next.
I like it hot.
Beg your pardon?
Can you make it hot for me, Dan?
I think so.
Half heated ain't hot enough.
No.
That's why I called you.
Apollo Plumbing.
Yeah, my sorry old water heater.
Oh.
Ain't getting me the hots anymore.
You want hot water.
That's what I said.
That's what we do at Apollo Plumbing.
And you're ready?
Right now.
When can you?
How about today?
Same day?
We'll have you in hot water tonight.
Clever. How about an upgrade?
A tankless water heater would mean endless hot water.
Now you're cooking.
That's just for starters.
Starters?
How about we make it a worry-free water heater?
Worry-free?
Wrenchie's worry-free warranty.
Which covers?
Repairs, service, all included.
And when it wears out?
Apollo replaces it.
No extra charge?
Nothing.
Nil?
Nada. As an Apollo A-list member, you're covered.
And payments?
To fit your budget with approved credit, of course.
And I'm hot again.
Worry-free.
That's for me.
We're on our way.
Thanks for making it hot.
We're ApolloPlumbing.com.
I was walking my dog. I fell and ended up with 3 tears in my meniscus. I was sent to a surgeon and they said the only way to get this fixed is to have surgery. That just wasn't an option. I didn't want to jump into surgery without trying anything else.
I'm Dr. Mark Shelley, a chiropractic neurologist at Sound Pain Solutions. We offer Jamie an alternative to the downtime and potential risks associated with invasive knee surgery. At Sound Pain Solutions, we help patients like Jamie avoid the side effects of painkillers, cortisone injections, and pain following surgery. Our comprehensive approach includes treatments like pressure wave, PRP, and advanced laser. These treatments reduce pain and restore mobility naturally. Now Jamie is able to do everything she enjoys without pain.
I'm grateful for being able to wake up every day and not be in pain. To be able to go about my day has been amazing.
Schedule a free consultation to learn if you qualify for our non-surgical and drug-free joint treatments at soundpainsolutions.com.
All right, I'm very happy to have Phil Mitchell from Sunset Auto Family on with me right now. And Phil, you guys offer such an amazing value for people who are driving their cars a little bit longer now, and you guys offer repairs for life. How does that work?
Basically, we're going to cover any repair we do for $250 or over for as long as you own the vehicle.
So let me ask you this question. Let's say that I buy my vehicle elsewhere. My transmission on my car breaks down. You guys fix it. 10 years later, I have the same problem. You guys are going to fix that again for no cost?
That's right. No cost to you for as long as you own the vehicle.
So why would you even offer this? This has got to be incredibly expensive for you.
You know what? We just want to keep our customers for life. So chances are if we do a repair for life and we take good care of you, you might look us up when you decide to get a new vehicle. And we want to be your lifetime dealer.
So somebody really does feel like they're part of the Sunset Auto family.
That's exactly right. We want you to be part of the family, and that's why we take good care of you.
Oil changes for life, warranty protection for life, and repairs for life. Only at Sunset Kia in Auburn, Sunset Ford, and Sunset Chevrolet in Sumner. You just get more at Sunset, and people do like that.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cards for Kids. 1-877 Cards for Kids. Donate your car today.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Ready to get rid of that old car? Donate it to Cars for Kids. Call 877 Cars for Kids to speak to a friendly live agent. Donation is super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Go to carsforkids.org now or call 877 Cars for Kids to donate your car today.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids.
Did you know you can donate real estate too? Go to carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K.
Charlie Harger and Manda Factor, Seattle's morning news.
Hey, oh, let's go.
Now, Choke Points with Chris Sullivan.
Presented by Carter Subaru.
Well, 19 days of massive congestion is about to start on State Route 19, just north of Deception Pass. Here's what you need to know about Sully. I think every single day during his time off, his vacation, including the weekend, Sully was messaging into the station, hey, we've got a traffic problem here. Oh, look at this. There's a blockage there. on his days off. And on one of those days off, he headed to the construction zone just north of Deception Pass to get some pictures and get some answers.
Yeah, because unless you've been there, you really kind of have a hard time understanding maybe what they're doing or why it might take so long and why they're going to have to close the road for as much as they have to. So getting eyes on it, I think, was pretty good idea. And yeah, it was just 3 miles from where I was playing golf at the Swinomish Golf Links up there anyway. But traveling between Deception Pass and Anacortes is not going to be pleasant starting on Monday. That's when the Washington Department of Transportation is going to activate new temporary traffic signals on SR 20 at Campbell Lake Road. If you're watching our YouTube live feed, I shot some video up there of the intersection. David's playing it now to kind of give you an idea of what they're looking at. They're only going to allow one direction of travel through this construction zone, which is about 4 miles north of Deception Pass. This one-lane alternating traffic pattern will stay in place for 19 straight days, 24 hours a day. The signals go live at 6 a.m. next Monday. Now, here's the thing. They're scheduled to stay active through 6 p.m. on Friday, September 4th. Why should you be thinking that far in advance? Well, that's the Friday before Labor Day, through 6 o'clock. On a spot between Whidbey Island and Anacortes. What could go wrong? I'm hoping it's only 18 days, because adding that day in advance of Labor Day is something we're going to have to keep a very close eye on. So what's WashDOT doing in this area that requires such a move? Well, it's building a new roundabout at the three-way intersection there. It's going to help improve safety and really help drivers coming from Campbell Lake Road access SR 20. When I sat up there last week, I watched drivers sit and sit and sit looking for a way to get on to SR 20. And then a few of them jumped into very tight gaps, and you can see where there's a safety issue here. WashDOT's Elizabeth Mount told me that the contractor needs these 19 days to raise the dirt level on the east side of the highway.
That's when crews will build up the roadbed beneath eastbound SR 20 to meet that final grade of the roundabout. And a temporary layer of asphalt will be applied to be used by the eastbound traffic during that settlement period.
And you can see why it's going to take so long to fill this in. If you look at the video there, you can see that the road slopes down severely in that spot. The west side of the road appears to be 5 to 10 feet above the east side. So they got to fill that hole in. It's going to just take some time. So after the 19 days of closures, WashDOT will return two-way traffic to the corridor for about 6 months. WashDOT's Melissa Ambler says that will allow the dirt to settle, the time for it to settle, and give the contractor an idea of how much dirt will need to be added before they can build the roundabout.
We'll be raising the road this year, and because of the poor soils in the area, we need to wait and see if any of it settles. We'll be back next year. We'll survey the area and see if we're still at the proper elevation. And if we're not, then we'll build it up again and then build the roundabout.
Once work on that roundabout begins next year, WashDOT will once again reduce SR 20 to one lane of alternating traffic, but this time for up to 54 days. Speed limit in the area already has been reduced to 40 miles an hour, and I can tell you that it is being monitored closely by State Patrol already. Saw multiple troopers patrolling that area last week. The only real way to avoid the backups in this area is to take Rosario Road, but that's an even smaller road and really can't handle the capacity. That's kind of a locals only. My locals will tell me really not a great option for you. Best bet, avoid the peak times if you can, or maybe catch a ferry off the south end of Whidbey, because going north or coming down out of Anacortes is not going to be easy the next couple of weeks.
Orient me. So this is, where would I be headed if I were to take this road?
SR 20? Yeah, so you're basically coming off the top of Whidbey Island across the Deception Pass Bridge.
Okay.
And then you kind of meander your way up to where the roundabout to SR 20, where you would take a left to go to Anacortes, a right to go to Mount Vernon. So right there by the refineries. That's that stretch of Highway 20, and it's about halfway between there and Deception Pass. Campbell Lake's big lake there over on your left-hand side. And so it's an area that a lot of people recreate in. Heck, when I was up there on Thursday, there were a bunch of people, already just hanging out at Deception Pass. I mean, on a beautiful day, why wouldn't you go there? Beautiful state park. And so it's another way to get off the island without having to use a ferry. and really easier for people on the north end. A lot of people, commute back and forth between Anacortes and there are places in there. So that's kind of where it is. It's at the very northern tip where 20 goes over Deception Pass and then on up into Anacortes.
Okay. And if people need to find out more, I'm assuming you have a map and stuff like that up at mynorthwest.com?
Yeah, I do. Plus, I've put this video up on my X account, and we have links to that. They'll be up on our YouTube channel later, and TikTok or wherever we put those things now. So it's all of our channels. It's going to be there. But yeah, the map's up at mynorthwest.com. If not, Jason's working on it, our editor at the My Northwest right now. It should be up pretty quickly.
Insulation rebates from PSE are at historic highs. American Crawl Space and Pest Services gave over $3 million in PSE insulation rebates last year, more than any contractor in Washington. Homeowners, business owners, and PSE trust American Crawl Space and Pest Services. Was your home built before 1990? Visit AmericanCrawl.com to see how much you can save on replacing your insulation.
American Crawl, the heroes you call.
Hey, Jake Skorheim here. Beat the rain and beat the mad rush. Valentine Roofing is now offering priority scheduling for your roof replacement. When you call Valentine Roofing today, they can get your job started within 3 weeks of signing the agreement. And they make the process so simple. You're going to receive an estimate with transparent pricing and options that fit your needs in about an hour. So call 206 Roofing to schedule your free estimate. That's 206 Roofing. And remember, when you see the red Valentine van, you know your home is in good hands.
John is a national champion ping pong player.
My greatest claim to fame is an actor who portrayed the Chinese national champion that played Forrest Gump. I played him in a national tournament and I actually beat him.
Competing at that level takes precision and healthy shoulders. But after years of wear and tear, he was dealing with a serious shoulder injury.
I had a slap tear. Success rate for the surgery was only about 15%.
Instead of surgery, he chose to see Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, at Seattle Sports Regenerative Medicine for stem cell therapy, the most experience in the Northwest with over 20,000 stem cell procedures.
The next day, I was pretty much 100%. I was pain-free. I had problems with my shoulder for 20 or 30 years.
And have you been able to compete again?
I won a national title 6 months after the procedure. My shoulder's like I'm an 18-year-old.
So whether it's a hip like I had, a shoulder, elbow, ankle, wrist, or knee, before choosing surgery, see Dr. Mark Wagner first. Go to drmarkwagnermd.com. That's drmarkwagnermd.com.
Endless hours of research, seeking referrals, dozens of calls. Hiring the right attorney can be a challenging process during an already difficult time. J.P. Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains.
In Washington State, Tom, there are thousands of attorneys to choose from. Referrals and online research can be helpful, but discovering the right attorney requires a conversation. It can be hard to identify integrity and authenticity without that interaction.
So, what do you recommend?
We encourage anyone looking for personal injury representation to call for a free consultation with our team before making a decision simply based on referrals or online research. Accident victims need an attorney that listens, demonstrates honesty, and is genuinely understanding of their unique circumstances. The care, attention, and preparation that our firm provides throughout the case mirrors the effort involved when taking on the insurance companies.
Save time and avoid mistakes after an injury. Contact the caring and compassionate team at Pendergast Law.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
Right now is the perfect time to save some money, and one of the easiest ways to save, take the First Mark Challenge. Molly and I took the First Mark Insurance Challenge, and we saved thousands of dollars the first year with First Mark Insurance, and we've been saving ever since. Here's how. First Mark Insurance works for you, not one insurance company. They compare rates and coverage from dozens of the top-rated carriers. Then they go to work to find you the right coverage at the lowest possible price for your needs. And when you need them, well, you'll talk to a real person who knows you and is there to help you. That's the kind of world-class service that has kept us with First Mark year after year after year. Take the First Mark Challenge today. It costs you nothing. There's no obligation, and you'll find out just how much money you could be saving every single month. You could be the next First Mark Challenge victory. They've had over 11,000 of them. Simply go to firstmarkinsurance.com. What are you waiting for? Your savings? They start tomorrow. firstmarkinsurance.com. That's firstmarkinsurance.com.
KIRO FM and HD1 Tacoma, Seattle.
ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. Ahead of Tuesday's primary in Wisconsin, polls showed Democratic Socialist Francesca Hong leading in the Democratic side of the governor's race. But the Associated Press is now projecting that moderate David Crowley will win the nod. In South Carolina, meantime,
Darlene Graham, the sister of the late Senator Lindsey Graham, failed to win more than 50% of the vote in the Republican primary to replace her brother on the November ballot, despite the complete and total support of the president.
I've been accused of not being a politician. Guilty as charged.
ABC News now projecting Graham will advance to a runoff against Republican Congressman Ralph Norman.
That's ABC's Jay O'Brien. Well, over 200 people killed in the earthquake in Colombia. Search teams still looking for thousands who are reported missing. A total eclipse of the sun set to darken the skies over Iceland this afternoon and then head to Europe. The east coast of the U.S. should get a bit of dimming from the eclipse. This is ABC News. A woman and 4 children all found dead in a Winfield, Kansas home. Also dead the gunman, says Police Chief Robbie Long.
The decision was made to attempt to breach the front door just to see if they could see inside what was occurring. Immediately, the door was breached and officers called for assistance and medical. There inside, they located 6 individuals deceased.
The suspected shooter, the husband and father of the woman and the children. New inflation numbers coming out from the government today, and most experts expect we will see what you probably already know. Everything costs more.
Prices are still going in the wrong direction. Inflation is expected to go up at an annual rate of 3.4%. What does that mean? Prices are 3.4% higher compared to the same time last year. And that is about where we were the month before, but it is still above where you want to see in a healthy economy, which is typically closer to a 2% rate.
ABC's Elizabeth Schulze. I'm Sherry Preston, ABC News.
At 6:02, here's what's happening. A police spokesperson in the Bite of Seattle shooting response says the city's story is, quoting here, not accurate. Como reports Detective Brian Pritchard wrote in an email that the press briefing was delayed for dignitaries, directly contradicting the mayor and former chief. We'll have more on this at the bottom of the hour. Man who drove a stolen car off the Edmonds Ferry dock, killing 2 women inside, is headed to prison for just shy of 7.5 years. The judge said she couldn't, in good conscience, give him less than the maximum. All evacuation orders tied to the Spokane complex fires have now been lifted more than 2 weeks after flames destroyed over 900 structures. And Cal Raleigh isn't mincing words about the slumping Mariners, saying, quote, "I'm awful." The big dumper took to the blame after a 5th straight loss, saying the team is playing, quoting again here, very, very, very bad baseball. Time to check traffic. We do that every 10 minutes on the 3s. Here's Chris Sullivan.
And we're starting the day, Charlie, with a crash on northbound 405 right at Sunset as you work your way through Renton. Not sure which lane it's in. I think it's the left general purpose lane, not the HOV, because WashDOT decided to put a giant work truck right in the construction zone there, so I can't see. But either way, I know there's something there, and my texters are letting me know we've got a crash right there, and we're backing up pretty significantly already. You plan on about 25 minutes to go from Renton on up into Bellevue at about 5 to 8 minutes, and that's only going to go up if we stick around here for a little bit. Behind that, the Valley Freeway's got a little over 40 minutes from end to end. Northbound I-5, Olympia to Tacoma's 35. Tacoma itself is okay. Rent a Federal Way to Seattle, under 40 minutes, and we're under 40 from Everett to Seattle or Bellevue. This report brought to you by Wilcox Family Farms. For a convenient, healthy snack on the go, look for ready-to-eat Wilcox hard-boiled eggs. Find Wilcox eggs at Costco, Metro Market, Safeway, and other local grocers.
Now, the latest from KIRO Newsradio and MyNorthwest.com.
Live from East Lake Avenue,
Seattle's morning news.
Good morning. I'm Charlie Harger. Manda Factor has the morning off. The City Council of Seattle just made one of the biggest changes in years to rental regulations. They blame what they call junk fees. They ban them, rather. The KIRO Newsradio's Jillian Raftery has been following the issue.
And this has been in the works for many years. Rental and housing advocates say these fees inflate rent sometimes as much as 10 to 20%. And let's talk about what renters are actually paying for. Sometimes access to a gym. We all know about pet rent, of course. But sometimes it's signing up to get packages or even common area fees. And these are often not optional. This was a more than 3-hour meeting packed with renters advocating for this ordinance.
And I'm a renter living in South Lake Union.
I urge the council to ban rental junk fees.
Seattle renters are paying a fee to pay rent, fees to cover utilities and management offices, fees to submit maintenance requests.
This piece of legislation will provide much needed relief to renters like myself.
I've been renting in Seattle for 7 years, and in that time, I paid thousands of dollars in rental fees, with most of that coming from pet rent for my cat.
Small landlords were represented. Most did not disagree with the spirit of the bill. Angie is a small landlord in Seattle, and this is what she had to say about the process.
This moved out of council's committee with a 5-0 vote and not one meeting involving housing providers.
So she didn't feel like landlords were included in the process. Daniel Gallagher is a social or affordable housing developer, and he said that banning pet rent could actually have a huge impact on the housing market.
Amendment D likewise ensures that renters get insurance. Too many times in my buildings I've seen renters without rent insurance be very financially damaged by accidents, and we think Amendment D helps support renters in the long term.
Ultimately, this did pass out of the full council unanimously with one abstention. But Councilmember Kettle kind of gave a warning with some of these bans, like bans on pet fees.
One should know this is America, that real estate, this is a business, and these costs will be passed through. And I just think that in this situation, in the idea that this is a common sense fix, very small amount, and that otherwise this will be borne by all tenants. And that in itself creates its own affordability challenges.
So that pet rent was one of the most controversial measures, and it did pass with the regular bill. They did allow some fees like replacing keys. Ultimately, Councilmember Kettle said you might anticipate either legal challenges or increases in rent across the board. This measure is going to take effect July 1st of next year.
Jillian Raftery reporting live. The controversy over the Bite of Seattle shooting is boiling over at City Hall. Como uncovered an internal email from a police spokesperson that accuses the city of spreading a false narrative. Detective Brian Pritchard says officials delayed a press conference to wait for dignitaries to arrive. Now, Mayor Katie Wilson strongly denies that anyone was asked to hold off on releasing information. However, in that email, Pritchard said the mayor's version of events is simply not accurate. We heard from Seattle's interim police chief about the shooting yesterday morning.
Spoke to the lieutenant over our homicide investigation. There's some search warrants that they're writing today that they've written over the last couple of days. There's going to be fruitful to this investigation.
Officers were on the scene within seconds and subdued one of the shooters.
Get out! Get out!
Others are believed to have been involved, but no description has been released. Mayor Katie Wilson has ordered a review of the communication to the public that day. At that hearing, Councilmember Rob Saka asked a question many of us are wondering.
Is there a killer on the loose? Yes or no?
Speaking with my detectives this morning, we're combing through some warrants and looking at some things. We still have to comb through some video surveillance that was there. I can't say yes or no.
Interim Chief Andre Sales added the investigators are making progress. The shooting at Seattle Center killed 3 people and injured 4 others. New details are emerging about 19-year-old Junior C. Nicosimo, one of the 3 people killed in the shooting. Court records obtained by the Seattle Times show Nicosimo was charged as a juvenile in 2024 with unlawful gun possession after police say he was found with a stolen Glock and a bump stock. The case was later dismissed as part of a sealed plea agreement. Police have said Nicosimo is believed to have been an associate of the 15-year-old boy accused and arrested in connection with the shooting.
Keeping you informed since 1974. This is the city's longest-running radio news show.
Seattle's Morning News on KIRO Newsradio.
Well, here we are. It's 6:09 on a Wednesday morning. Manda Factor has the day off. I'm Charlie Harger. Sully is here and back. Good to see you, my friend.
Good to be here.
We slowly got details from Luke Ducey's wife yesterday. Can you just maybe give us a quick update on what she told you?
Bottom line is things went well. He went to recovery, and he's got some time to recover. But yeah, surgery went well, went great. Took a long time.
Yeah.
But everything's good for Luke. So thank you to all our listeners who send in positive vibes and prayers and thoughts. I'm sure they helped in some way in our cosmic universe, but Luke's doing okay.
That's great to hear. I can't wait to get him back. And Nick Krasia has returned. We've missed you the past couple of days, Nick.
It's good to be back, yeah.
I don't think you signed off with me on taking some time off. Did I miss the memo?
It was an executive decision on another side. So.
Oh, man. I have no power around here. Well, it's good to see you back. By the way, you're like one of the biggest Mariners fans here. What did you make of Cal Raleigh's quote there talking about the tough season he's having?
It's not too far off from what I'm feeling right now, along with I feel like a lot of fans these days. It's the wins have become few and far between, and the schedule's not getting any easier. So we'll see if they can turn the car around here.
All right, Nick Krasia is back with us, picking the tunes and running the board. This hour of Seattle's Morning News is sponsored by American Crawl Space and Pest Control. Okay, coming up this hour, kids, you might want to plug your ears. Summer vacation is nearly over. Families are gearing up for the school year. A big concern for educators and parents around the country is how to get students focused on classes instead of their smartphones. We'll hear from ABC's Jim Ryan. Plus, are we expecting more wildfire smoke as fires continue throughout the state? We'll get a full report from meteorologist Scott Sistek. Speaking of wildfires, all evacuation levels tied to the Spokane Complex fire have now been lifted. Officials say remaining evacuation orders for the Old Trails Road and Autumn Lane fires ended yesterday afternoon, but they warn fire danger is still high and damaged homes and buildings may be unsafe to enter. Washington State set aside millions of dollars to hire new police officers, but the money isn't bringing in many recruits. Here's KIRO News Radio's Katrina Gashard.
According to the Jason Ranch Show on Seattle Red 770 AM, the state spent $46.6 million from its police hiring fund. However, that massive amount of money only funded 74 entry-level officers statewide. That works out to a staggering $630,000 per new cop. Some cities, like Auburn, collected nearly $4 million from the state but hired 0 officers. State officials say agencies are allowed to use the money for other things like equipment, training, and co-responder programs. But the state is not requiring agencies to explain exactly what they bought with the cash. Katrina Gashard, KIRO News Radio.
It's 6:12. It's time to get a check on the weather, and we're joined by KIRO 7 pinpoint meteorologist Nick Allard. Hey, Nick, I am reading about some red flag warnings east of the mountains. What is that?
High fire danger. So that's for like the Okanagan area into Spokane. Anytime you have a red flag warning, you're talking about very high fire danger. Whether or not it's just breezy with low humidity and hot, or it could be breezy with low humidity and maybe a chance for thunderstorms. It's just all about high fire danger. And today there is a chance for thunderstorms for that area as well. In fact, what we're going to see west of the Cascades is low clouds early on and then sunshine and quite a bit, say partly sunny to mostly sunny in the mid 70s. But you will also see a chance for some showers and thunderstorms, mainly in the North Cascades or even a little bit in the Olympics and east of the Cascades. And with that, I don't expect the moisture to make it to the lowlands, but I do think there could be some elevated smoke and haze coming in throughout the day that should not impact air quality. So you'll see mostly just some sunshine, hazy sunshine in the mid 70s, some thunderstorms in the mountains and east of the Cascades. Tomorrow, later in the day, there might be a few places in the Cascades or the foothills that have a slight reduction in air quality, or maybe a little bit in the South Sound, but it doesn't look like much of a surface air quality issue. Just a little could mix down later in the day tomorrow. You'd be in the upper 70s. You'd see morning clouds, afternoon sun. Same thing again, though. Showers and thunderstorms possible in the mountains and east. And then still some haze around on Friday, but getting out of here and highs around 80. Still thunderstorms east of the Cascades. And then this weekend, morning clouds, afternoon sun in the 80s. So you do have some haze coming in. Right now, not a huge air quality issue, but there could be some spots in the moderate range tomorrow, and it's something we'll watch very closely.
All right, Nick, thank you. In Seattle right now, it's 62. Time to check traffic. We do that every 10 minutes with Chris Sullivan.
Well, the crash on northbound 405 didn't stick around for long. State Patrol and IRT got it moved over to the right shoulder pretty quickly, northbound 405 at Sunset. Still have a backup from 167 up past the scene, but we should be getting better. The good news is not as heavy volume this early, so hopefully we'll be able to clear this thing out. But right now it's 25 minutes from Renton to Bellevue, a couple of minutes behind schedule. Behind that, the Valley Freeway, about 40 minutes, nothing out of line there. Olympia to Tacoma's got a nice and easy 35-minute trip. A few brake lights up the hill Hill to 18, primarily in the right lane, and then Federal Way to Seattle's about 40 minutes. 40 is what we have from Everett to Seattle or Everett to Bellevue. All of the braking there south of the Linwood area. Across the lake, no problem. KIRO News Radio Real-Time Traffic. I'm Chris Sullivan.
Bringing you Seattle's morning news since 1974. This is KIRO News Radio.
Glad to have you along with us on this Wednesday. Families already gearing up for back to school. One big concern from parents and teachers around the country is how to get students off their phones and focused on classwork. Child psychologists urge caregivers to ease their children back into the academic routine by tapering off screen time before the first day of class. Good luck on that. Let's get more details from ABC's Jim Ryan. Good morning, Jim. So what are you hearing here about the methods parents are, because I'd love to learn. I'd get my teenager away from the phone.
Well, setting by example, leading by example, maybe going for a couple of days, telling your kid, look, I'm going to stay off my phone for 3 hours today. Let's see if you can do the same thing. Trying to lead by example. You guys have a little time left. I mean, schools around here have already started here in Texas, but I think you've got till September 2nd.
Yeah, it depends. That sounds about right.
Yeah, so being gradual about it. It's the same way that you want to ease them into their new sleep schedule, right? So if they're getting to bed now at 10:30, 11 o'clock at night, start backing that down little by little until September 2nd when they're back on a normal sleep schedule. Back time it from the time they're supposed to get up in the morning to make it to school and figure out how, that's going to fit into an 8-hour night of sleep. But yeah, same thing with phones. Ease them off just a little bit of time. Especially if they spend a lot of time on that device. Because in some schools, and I know a lot across Seattle, that there is this ban essentially on devices in classrooms. You got to leave it off, keep it off during the school day.
What is the research showing about how kids are affected by smartphone usage, especially during the school day?
Well, yeah, their attention span is affected by that, their ability to function socially with other kids. And anecdotally, you'll see the reverse is in place in districts that do have some sort of prohibition in place. Oklahoma, for example, has a statewide ban on smartphones, devices, even smart watches in the classroom during the school day. And teachers and parents there say, yeah, the kids are learning better. They're becoming more socially adept. They're making friendships, and their grades are seeing some improvement. They've had that in place for about a year now, so there is some track record. So, yeah, in districts that are still feeling their way, and I know that a lot of places it's kind of left to the districts as opposed to a state mandate. But it appears to be working. So it's more like what kids in the 70s and 80s were dealing with. They didn't have smartphones. They had to deal with books.
What kind of momentum are we seeing this for kind of a nationwide movement? I know there's a proposal that is set to hit our state legislature at the beginning of next year.
Mm-hmm. Sure. Well, there are 39 states and the Washington, D.C. that have state laws or policies, at least, that require or encourage local school districts to do something about it. It's rare that there would be a statewide policy on this like they have in Oklahoma. But I think this is kind of the direction it's going, Charlie, that the school administrators at the local level are being asked to do something about this, because I think what it means is that administrators and psychologists and parents see some harm in kids having their phones with them all day. Of course, they need to weigh that against school safety, making sure their kids can reach their parents if they need to in an emergency, and vice versa. So still a lot to work out with this.
What is the one app that you find hard to resist, that you find yourself, Jim, you're at home, you're like, I have to check this one more time today?
Ruzzle. That's the game I like it. Or the New York Times puzzle page. Those are the ones that I can't do it.
Ruzzle. Okay. Right. And yeah, I have to agree on the New York Times puzzle page as well. And now I know a new site, Ruzzle. Thanks, Jim. Yeah. That's ABC's Jim Ryan joining us on Seattle's Morning News. It's 6:19 now. Spokane's health officer has signed an emergency order to speed up cleanup from the Spokane complex fires. Dr. Francisco Velasquez says the order authorizes the EPA and FEMA to begin removing hazardous materials from fire-damaged properties. He says homeowners don't need to take any action.
Fire-damaged properties are automatically included, so cleanup can begin as quickly as possible, and unnecessary delays can be avoided. We want to be able to bring you back home.
And all evacuation orders were lifted yesterday. Investigators offering a $30,000 reward for information about the Chelan Hills fire in Douglas County. County leaders have pledged $25,000, while the ATF is adding another $5,000. The July 4th wildfire burned nearly 10,000 acres, destroyed homes and other structures, and claimed one life. Anyone with information is urged to contact authorities. A Spanaway man's body was found in a shed Monday night, and detectives are trying to figure out how he died and who killed him.
Pierce County Sheriff's officials say they were sent out here to do a welfare check, and when deputies arrived, they found a man around 60 years old on the floor of a shed in a backyard. Investigators say he appeared to have at least 2 injuries in his head, possibly gunshot wounds. Because of his injuries, they do not think these wounds were self-inflicted.
And yesterday afternoon, a person was arrested, according to KIRO 7 TV's Madeline Audley. A home next door was set on fire. Person was arrested for arson. Unclear whether those two cases are connected. A man who drove a stolen Mini Cooper off the Edmonds Ferry dock in June of last year, killing 2 passengers, will spend nearly 7.5 years in prison. Here's KIRO 7 TV's Nia Bliss.
Families of the victims did not hold back in Snohomish Superior Court.
Hundreds of people that love them, and now they're gone because you were scared to go to jail.
Superior Court Judge Cindy Larson revealed William Russell Leonard was already on community custody for another conviction when the deadly crash happened. Once Russell Leonard is released, a judge has ordered him to community custody for 18 months.
A registered sex offender has been arrested after allegedly sunbathing nude at Mukilteo's Lighthouse Park while children and families were present. Police found him later at his home in unincorporated Everett and took him into custody. 2 women reported being uncomfortable about what they saw, but police say not all the details were available. Port of Seattle Commission has approved final funding for the S-Concourse Evolution project at SeaTac Airport. The roughly $2.5 billion renovation will modernize the airport's international concourse with seismic upgrades, expanded passenger space, new amenities, and improved boarding operations. Construction expected to start next year and wrap up in 2034. Time to check traffic. We do that every 10 minutes. Sully, where do we start?
Do a little research for you. Were you familiar with Ruzzle?
No, I've never heard of
Ruzzle. I've never heard of it either. I checked it out. It's based on Boggle. It's like a really fast-paced kind of word game, too, again. So
I like the word games.
So, yeah, anyway.
Keep me sharp.
Yeah, Ruzzle, I guess. Check it out. So we're looking at... Well, don't do that while you're driving. That's probably not a good thing. I got to start in the Renton area where we still have pretty heavy slowing on northbound 405 through the Renton S-curves. This is all for a crash that happened right at sunset. They got it out of the way in about 10 minutes, which was great. But we still have about a 5-minute delay through the area, 25 minutes from Renton to Bellevue. Behind that, some significant spillover onto the Valley Freeway because we do have brake lights there. Give yourself about 42 minutes from Puyallup to Renton. Federal Way to Seattle's running about 40. Coming down from the north end, definitely seeing the brake lights now on southbound I-5 as you go past the forced merge in Northgate and the slowing in Canyon Park. So we're a little over 40 minutes from Everett to Seattle or Bellevue. Lake bridges are still in very good shape. 16 and 18 looking really good at this point for either one of those corridors. This report brought to you by the KIRO Newsradio App. Text app to 888-973-5476. Download the KIRO Newsradio App. Listen to your favorite shows. Get the latest news and updates sent right to your phone.
Looking for a high in the upper 70s in Seattle today, maybe mid-70s. East of the mountains, that's where there's a chance of thunder, lightning, and wind. So keeping an eye on that red flag warning. High of 75 today, 79 tomorrow. Right now in Seattle, it's 58. Coming up, more of the day's top stories, including KIRO News Radio's Jillian Raftery on that big vote by the Seattle City Council last night to provide emergency funding for trans people coming to the city. We'll have that and the opening bell report coming up on Seattle's Morning News.
KIRO News Radio, where you hear the John Curley Show, 3 to 7.
Katie Wilson, people still blasting away at her. There's a great, crazy play called The Actor's Nightmare. And the play goes this way. The actor is standing backstage, and all of a sudden, the stage manager goes, "You're on." And he walks into the scene. He didn't show up at any rehearsals, and he's just there, center stage. And the nightmare is, I have no idea what my line is.
Watch live or later on the John Curley Show's YouTube channel.
The Black Crowes, live in the Tulalip Amphitheater, Sunday, August 30th. Tickets are on sale now. Details at TulalipCasino.com.
Hi, I'm Terry from Sky Nursery, and our summer event season is here. We have something exciting planned for you every weekend all summer long. See thousands of beautiful flowers at the 50th Anniversary Dahlia Show. Enjoy a 2-day Ikebana exhibition on Japanese floral arranging. Join workshops on mosaics, bonsai, and even carnivorous plant terrariums. As a family-owned garden center, Sky Nursery loves partnering with local artists and makers to celebrate a vibrant creative community. See our summer schedule at skynursery.com.
Hey there, Dawn Riley with Olympic Hot Tub. It's our 49th birthday, and we're celebrating by giving you the gifts. Outstanding savings on saltwater hot spring spas, free Bluetooth music, and interest-free financing for 3 years. Plus, exciting savings on endless pool swim spas, saunas, and cold plunges. How's that for a birthday to remember? Ends August 24th. OlympicHotTub.com. Better you, better life.
Olympic Hot Tub.
I love days like these at the pool, but my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis can sometimes take me out of the moment. I'm ready to make a splash with clearer skin thanks to Skyrizi, Risankizumab Riza. Skyrizi is a prescription-only injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy. At 4 months, most people saw 90% clearer skin when measured from head to toe, and many were even 100% plaque-free. People also saw significant improvement in psoriasis symptoms of pain, redness, itching, and burning.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines.
Now there's nothing on my skin thanks to Skyrizi, and that means everything. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist-prescribed biologic in psoriasis. Visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
Are you finding it hard to stay cool in your home during hot weather? The issue is likely your window's poor quality and lack of heat deflecting technology. Adrian here, owner of Lake Washington Windows and Doors. Our windows are 25% more energy efficient than Energy Star standards and come with high-performance Sun Matrix glass, which can help keep the summer heat out. Combined with our Leak Armor installation, your comfort will be secured for a lifetime. Choose Lake Washington Windows and Doors, a name you can trust. Visit lakewashingtonwindows.com.
How would you like to invest in the Seattle real estate market, one of the hottest and most stable regions in the country, and achieve a great rate of return on your investment without the effort of sourcing a deal, the expense and time of building permits, or all the hassles that come with being a landlord? Hi, I'm Scott Rireka, CEO of Legacy Group Capital in Bellevue. Legacy Group Capital develops local real estate, lends money, and shares the profits with our investors. Diversify with Legacy Group Capital. Invest into our Northwest Fund, which is currently delivering 9% on a fixed rate term. It's our flagship fund for 19 years with zero investor losses. And yes, we do accept IRAs. Find out why 1,300 local investors have invested over $350 million.
Invest in the stability and ease of Legacy Group Capital's Northwest Fund. Legacy Group Capital at legacyg.com. This is not investment advice. Investments available to accredited investors only. Details at legacyg.com.
Hey, how's your money situation? Are you ready for retirement? Well, if you want to know what the pros are doing to make wealth multiply, and retire like royalty? Then you need to listen to this show, Sound Path Through Retirement, with Ben Koval and Matt Leibarger. Get your money right and tune in every weekend, Saturdays at 10 a.m. and noon on KIRO Newsradio 97.3 FM.
Jazz Alley invites you to a special evening with Grammy-winning guitarist and vocalist John Pizzarelli, presenting Dear Mr. Bennett, a celebration of Tony Bennett and the Great American Songbook. August 13th through the 16th, tickets at jazzalley.com.
I'm not one to say I told you so, but I switched to Pure Talk over a year ago, and ever since, I've been telling people there's no better wireless company out there. Well, a few months ago, a massive survey was conducted. 123,000 people were asked to rate their wireless carrier in 4 categories: coverage, support, data, and overall value. Well, the results are in. Guess which wireless company was the only wireless company to get 5 stars in every category? Yeah, Pure Talk. 5 stars, every category. To celebrate, Pure Talk is offering the first 3 months of any plan for just $15 a month, including their top-tier unlimited plan. No contract, no commitment, just a very inexpensive way to test drive the only American wireless company with 5 stars in every category. Just dial pound 250, say micro, and Pure Talk's U.S. customer service will take it from there. Again, pound 250 micro. And yes, I told you so.
Now, the latest from KIRO Newsradio and MyNorthwest.com.
Live from East Lake Avenue.
You're listening to Charlie Harger and Manda Factor, Seattle's morning news.
Good morning. It's 6:30. Manda has the morning off. Seattle just earmarked $300,000 for trans refugees. This is a hot-button issue that got fast-tracked this summer, and Jillian Raftery is here live to explain.
Yes, and so for anyone who hasn't been following this is something that started simmering earlier this summer. Advocates say there's been a quiet refugee crisis with trans people who have been discriminated against in other states where laws have been changed, making it difficult for them to have housing or even work. There's been a migration to the Seattle area, and there are guides online for how to relocate. But a lot of these people don't have the funds to do so or get here and become destitute. So it's become this crisis where nonprofits say they are flooded and they're running out of money. Aaron is trans and relocated from the Dakotas and said they couldn't make it without help from other civilians who moved here too.
It's hard enough to find consistent work as a trans person, especially when there's more variety in a chip aisle than the city's job market. I did, however, find community, and I would not be standing here today if it wasn't for this.
Monte is a spiritual leader and was also pro-funding.
With a $0.3 million, equivalent to the salary of about 2.5 junior police officers, our local mutual aid orgs could house 16 trans people for a year. To those who complain about how even this is too much, I ask you, why do you care about so much about so little money?
Quite a lot of people spoke out against the funding, including another Jillian England here.
Compassion that ignores the budget is not compassion. It is deferred cost shifted to the people already paying higher taxes. Stabilize the tax base first, then consider expansions, please.
Victoria Palmer is with the King County Republican Party, and she had this to say.
Mayor Wilson's office rejected the request for an emergency. There's no reason to spend money, public money, to pay expenses for what is simply adults moving to Seattle.
Ultimately, this bill passed unanimously. That $300,000 a year is going to a variety of queer and transgender aid.
A little bit of I don't want to say sideshow, but it's important. But it's also deflecting attention to the operational piece.
Mayor Wilson has requested the Office of Inspector General conduct an independent after-action review of the flow of police information after the shooting to the public. Kettle sent a letter to Mayor Wilson calling for a probe that goes beyond the standard of an after-action report. And Seattle City Hall is going to the cats today. Seattle Animal Shelter is hosting its annual Kitty Hall adoption event from 11:30 to 1:30 in the Bertha Knight Landis Room. Visitors can meet adoptable cats and kittens, learn about pet licensing and fostering, even vote for a feline kitty council president. The cats adopted at the event can go home with their new families today. Sully, here's my thinking. Hear me out.
You're going to elect one of those cats for mayor?
Well, maybe. But what if we send James Lynch to cover
That would be perfect.
That would be amazing.
That would be the absolute best, I think, decision we could do. Let's see if we can get our news director, Frank, on the line and get our assignments put together.
James just loves these soft and fluffy stories, so.
The hardened crime guy, James Lynch. Yeah, he's probably working out right now. I can feel him on the bike.
Yeah.
Knowing this is happening, and I know exactly what he's saying under his breath.
We can't say that on the radio.
No, we cannot.
Time to check traffic now. We do that every 10 minutes.
We got time for that? Looking at the drive right now, we have northbound 405 being our heaviest, and I'm looking for another crash inside the S-curves. We had one near Sunset, which cleared over to the right shoulder pretty quickly, but I've got reports of one maybe kind of just north of Talbot before you get to the Maple Valley Highway. One of the reasons why we're still up at about 25 to 26 minutes to go from Renton on up into Bellevue. Behind that, some spillover onto the Valley Freeway from 180th on in, definitely putting us into the red. 45 minutes from Puyallup up to Renton. Also very heavy down the South Hill on eastbound 512 today. Looking at Olympia to Tacoma, no problems. Federal Way to Seattle, a little over 45 at this point, so we're pretty heavy past the north end of Boeing Field as well. Coming down from the north end, 45 to 50 minutes from Everett to Seattle or Bellevue. Heavy away from Linwood on 405. For I-5, it's really from around 130th down past the Forest Merge. The lake bridges are okay. This report brought to you by Home Comfort Alliance. Heating, air conditioning, plumbing, electrical. It repairs first, replacing only if it makes sense. Ask if a heating pump or for year-round comfort. You can get real pricing in 60 seconds at homecomfortalliance.com.
Partly sunny this afternoon, a high of 75 after the morning clouds burn off. 79 the high tomorrow. Right now in Seattle, it's 59.
From ABC News, Wall Street now. Deadly Iranian-backed attacks on ships in the Red Sea and Gulf of Oman Tuesday raised concern about the reopening of the crucial Strait of Hormuz, sending oil prices higher. Brent crude overnight was again approaching $90 a barrel. Amid growing public skepticism, another community is tapping the brakes on automated license plate readers. A police officer in New Bedford, Massachusetts, is accused of using the Flock technology to track an ex-partner. Tourism in Spain has gotten a major boost this week as millions of tourists flock to the country to see the nation's first total solar eclipse since 1905. In the United States, the moon will throw just a little shade on Boston and New York this afternoon. Jim Ryan, ABC News.
It's 6:36 now. The Justice Department is suing a Tukwila-based pet food company seeking to stop it from manufacturing and selling its products. The government alleges Aero Reliance, which does business as Darwin's Natural Pet Products, repeatedly violated federal food safety requirements. The complaint says FDA investigators found salmonella at the company's Tukwila facility back in 2024, along with other harmful bacteria in finished products. East Side shoppers have a new option for clothing this week. Uniqlo is opening its Issaquah Commons location on Friday. The Japanese retailer is known for its affordable everyday clothing, including styles for men, women, children. The new store will be located on Northwest Gilman Boulevard, expanding Uniqlo's presence in the Seattle area. If you're looking to save money on gas, tomorrow, August 13th, Circle K is celebrating Inner Circle Fuel Day at some locations around here. The Inner Circle members will get 40 cents off every gallon all day long.
From ABC News Tech Trends. Kalshi is facing a new lawsuit from the flight tracking service FlightAware. That company alleges Kalshi is using data from its website to allow people to wager on whether or not a flight will be canceled. FlightAware says that's a violation of its terms of service and that Kalshi didn't change its behavior after repeated requests to stop. It comes as prediction market apps like Kalshi face new calls from lawmakers to crack down on another style of market, the kind that allows people to bet on how far and fast wildfires will spread. Anthropic says it's going to weave new watermarks into every bit of text its AI models generate. The specialized code is invisible to the human eye and is meant to flag to computers that the text was either made entirely with AI or modified in some way using the technology. And Google CEO Sundar Pichai now says its Gemini artificial intelligence technology is being used by 1 billion people every month. It's the 14th Google product to hit 1 billion users. With Tech Trends, I'm Mike Dubowski. ABC News.
Trading has just opened on Wall Street. We have the Dow up 97 points right now. That's 0.18%. S&P 500 ahead by 25. That's 0.32%. And the NASDAQ has gained 163 points. That's 0.6%. Now, a word for KIRO 7 Pinpoint Alert Days. Your advance notice to stay safe in the heat, smoke, and summer storms. When weather threatens to disrupt your day and your plans, KIRO 7 sounds the alarm. They alert you days in advance. So stay informed, stay ready with KIRO 7 Pinpoint Weather, only on KIRO 7 TV. Okay, Sully, what's coming up in traffic?
Well, we're going to take a look at northbound 405. I could use some driver's help to see if we have a second crash in Renton. We'll talk about it next.
The opening bell is brought to you by Legacy Group Capital Common Sense Lending.
Dear Ursula, I have a group of friends who have bonded over...
Hi, I'm Ursula Voitin from the G and Ursula Show, and I'm launching a new podcast called Ask Ursula. This is your space. Real life, real questions, whether it's about family, friendships, love, and yes, even the fun stuff like travel and finding your signature scent. Hit me up and ask your questions at mynorthwest.com/Ursula. I look forward to connecting with you.
At mynorthwest.com and the G and Ursula YouTube channel.
I felt like I had pins and needles sticking into my feet, like they were on fire. Couldn't figure out what was going on and suffered with it. Very uncomfortable to try to get to sleep. So I started to do some research, and it sounded like it might be peripheral neuropathy. If you have it in your feet, it migrates up towards your knees. So I thought I better take care of this. My primary care physician was only offering me gabapentin. It's a nerve blocker, and it didn't make a difference. Maybe toned it down a little bit, but it was so painful to walk. I called Sound Pain Solutions, and right away I got a good feeling. Had my first appointment. They said, we're going to help you. We're going to get through this. So I said, okay, let's do it.
I'm Dr. Mark Shelley, a chiropractic neurologist at Sound Pain Solutions. We use non-surgical, drug, and pain-free procedures that help neuropathy sufferers find relief.
My husband and I went on a trip through the Panama Canal, and being able to walk was really delightful.
Schedule a free consultation to learn if you qualify for our non-surgical and drug-free treatments at soundpainsolutions.com.
Tired of hearing scary radio ads about the IRS? Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000 or $500,000, we have a solution. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS with zero risk to you. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with a BBB. End your tax nightmare today by visiting TRA.com or call 800-583-6681. That's 800-583-6681.
And Doug. Limu and I created a trick to help you remember that you can customize your car insurance and save with Liberty Mutual. You see, the shirts Limu and I wear are yellow, and yellow is the color of lemons, and lemons grow on trees, and trees provide oxygen, and oxygen helps us breathe, and breathing is how you live, and you can live more life when you save money by customizing your car insurance. I agree, Limu. It's really quite simple. Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
When you see this in your kitchen,
the stainless steel fridge is covered in fingerprints.
You hear this.
Leslie, people are going to think you were raised in a barn or by wolves, or raised in a barn by wolves.
Fortunately, Wyman Stainless Steel 3-in-1 cleans, shines, and protects to give you the best shine. A spray and a wipe will have your fridge shining like a mirror.
Wow, my fridge looks brand new. Your fridge looks amazing, Leslie. Sorry, I was being a little dramatic earlier.
Your kitchen says a lot about you. Let it brag with Wyman.
Tired of hearing scary radio ads about the IRS? Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000 or $500,000, we have a solution. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS with zero risk to you. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with a BBB. End your tax nightmare today by visiting TRA.com. Or call 800-583-6681. That's 800-583-6681.
6:43 now. We check traffic on the 3s with Sully.
And we're still looking for another crash on northbound 405 as you work your way through the Renton area, right north of Talbot, but before the Maple Valley Highway. This to go along with the one we already had up near Sunset, which cleared. I'm not sure if someone just kind of put it in their algorithm and it popped it back out and it's the same crash. But either way, we've got about a half an hour drive to go from Renton to Bellevue. Some spillover onto the Valley Freeway to go with the stuff we have out of Auburn, and we've got 40 45 minutes from end to end. Northbound I-5 seeing some brake lights at 320th and Federal Way, but not too bad until you get up to the north end of Boeing Field, but 45 minutes as well, Federal Way to Seattle. Olympia to Tacoma's not too bad. Coming down from the north end, over 50 minutes from Everett to Seattle. The brake lights there from about 145th down. 405, about 45 minutes, maybe a little over, depending on how you hit it in Canyon Park. Right now, you start going under the speed limit right about the start of the express toll lanes. The lake bridges are still in very good shape, and I'm looking for something on westbound 16 to northbound 3, right around the Sinclair Inlet there in Gorst. Big red on the map there. I'm not sure if we had an earlier crash getting into Bremerton or not, but I'm checking into it. But plan on some delays there if you're trying to head into Bremerton. This report brought to you by 425 Magazine, home design, local living, dining trends, health, wellness, and more. Subscribe today, 425magazine.com.
Morning clouds burn off for afternoon, partly sunny skies, 75 the high for Seattle. Right now it's 59. Coming up, we'll have the extended forecast with meteorologist Scott Sistek as we look at red flag warnings in eastern Washington, which means very high fire danger. That's on the way on Seattle's Morning News.
Thinking about a new roof or exterior upgrade, but worried about the cost? This is Justin Shirley, CEO of State Roofing and Exteriors. We've created our summertime savings event to make it simple and affordable. Save up to $3,000 off your exterior project or get 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest up to 24 months. And every qualifying GAF roof is backed by our lifetime Golden Pledge warranty. One call gets you started. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com today. Held to a higher standard since 1968.
Nothing worse than clutter. With Closets by Design, everything will finally have its place. 40% off plus an additional 15% off and 18 months 0% financing on approved credit if paid in full. Closetsbydesign.com or call 1-800-BUY-DESIGN.
What if you could have the most reliable fiber-powered Wi-Fi? And get this, what if you could keep it at the same price for 5 years guaranteed? Now through August 24th, new Xfinity customers can get our best price on gig Wi-Fi this summer before it disappears. Just $50 a month for 5 years. No annual contracts, no hidden fees, and our best equipment included. Plus, get online in minutes with same-day Wi-Fi. It's Wi-Fi that finds and fixes problems before you even notice them. Like super intelligent Wi-Fi with a 6th sense. Plus, it keeps you protected from online threats. And get Peacock Premium included for 2 years. Lock in your price and unlock the possibilities. Get it now at Xfinity.com. Xfinity. Imagine that. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and autopay with stored bank account. Taxes and fees extra. Speeds vary. Use of fiber coaxial cable. Learn more at Xfinity.com/same-day Wi-Fi.
Anthony Hamilton with Tony live in the Tulalip Amphitheater Thursday, September 10th. Tickets are on sale now. Details at TulalipCasino.com.
Old windows cost you money and security. Lake Washington Windows and Doors installs energy-efficient, high-security windows that lower your bills and increase protection. With leak armor installation and lifetime warranties, you're protected for life. Choose LakeWashingtonWindows.com today.
Keep summer outside where it belongs. Save $588 on every window and $1,088 on every door, plus free heat deflecting glass. Claim your free quote today, plus 12 months no payments. Visit LakeWashingtonWindows.com.
Seattle's Morning News. Hear it live, stream it online, watch the show, or catch the podcast anytime. Seattle's Morning News, wherever you are.
Weather over the last week has been much nicer than the week before with all that smoke we had. Better air quality, some nice sunshine, but we may not be out of the woods yet. Let's call up meteorologist Scott Sistek from the Emerald City Weather blog. Good morning, Scott. Are we expecting a lot of lightning coming up in the next day or two?
And the next day, not around Seattle. It's up in the Cascades and maybe a little bit in the Olympics. You have like a really weak system that's kind of cutting through British Columbia, and it's not really going to bring like any like rain or gloomy days or anything like that. But it will be just enough to make the atmosphere unstable in the mountains and into eastern Washington that we could see some lightning later today into the afternoon. And it's right, like you said, it's right where we don't want it to be. It's looking like kind of the North Cascades and kind of over into the northern third of eastern Washington is how I was calling it. So like the Okanagan area like even initial land and all that. And then there is even a chance of some lightning over the Olympics today. And I don't want to discount that too. So, of course, it's been so dry lately. It's been so warm. And we've already seen all the fire danger we've had. It's like the last thing we need is to add lightning into the mix.
And we also have a red flag warning as a bonus. What's going on there?
Right. That's basically a fancy term for a fire weather warning. And that's kind of just alerting everybody in that zone that conditions are ripe to not only start fires, but that they could rapidly spread if one is started, or that even currently burning fires can also start rapidly spreading. And usually it's because of a mixture of three things: either lightning, or it's windy, or it's dry and hot. And we've kind of got, and it's low humidity. That's another big thing. And we've got all the ingredients together. Not for Seattle. Seattle's fine. It's mostly northeastern Washington, like the northern section of eastern Washington.
What's your best guess in terms of smoke for Seattle in the coming week?
The models show that we may actually get a little bit of smoke aloft in here later today and into the rest of this week. It's not going to be as bad as it was, what is that now, a week ago, but it doesn't look like it's going to be on the ground. So we're not looking at any like air quality concerns like in the Seattle and Puget Sound area. Maybe kind of hazy out there. I know that's kind of poor timing. We've got the big meteor shower tonight, and the weather, like the clouds didn't do so well last night, maybe better tonight, but the smoke may kind of haze everything out. Once that gets here, the air pattern is going to go kind of stagnant for a while. So for Seattle and the Puget Sound core area, you're kind of in a silo. The weather is pretty nice for the next, several days here. It's going to be like very summer normal, some morning clouds, and then the sun's out and upper 70s, maybe 80, but it will be kind of hazy. All of our concerns are tending to like mostly the mountains in eastern Washington.
I'm looking at the extended forecast. I don't see much precipitation at all. And again, like you said, highs in the 70s and low 80s. That's pretty pleasant for this time of year.
Yeah, if we could just freeze Seattle into that, lock it in and take away all the other, wildfire stuff that's going on around it, it'd actually be a really nice time here. There is something kind of in the long range model. So like we're talking next week, middle of next week and beyond. Maybe like another, like some showers in here. It's still kind of uncertain. Earlier, if you would have asked me like over the weekend what the end of this week was going to be like, it was trending hot. Like we were thinking mid 80s, maybe pushing 90, and that all went away. So now we're kind of in this, cruise control upper 70s. So next week we're also kind of looking at it like, okay, really? But if it gets like a little weak weather systems in here, that's fine for us. It's cloudy. It's maybe upper 60s, low 70s, but that could introduce lightning back into the equation. It could also introduce wind back into the equation in eastern Washington. So it's still not good. We're not out of the woods yet. I think we're really going to have to get through September and get kind of into a rainy season and start getting some real rain and more frequent rain in here before we really can kind of like let our guard down.
We're speaking with Scott Sistek from the Emerald City Weather blog. Scott, we mentioned this briefly last week, also had a conversation with your fellow meteorologist, Ted Biener, about it. And that is we're on this slow downward slope in terms of high temperatures. Refresh us. What does that mean?
Right. So as of last Monday, our average high temperature in Seattle dropped from 79 to 78, which doesn't sound like a whole lot, but it's just more what it means because we've started the downward trend in our average high temperatures that, will eventually bottom out sometime in January. But so it's like, okay, well, that's one more step toward fall. I said we already lost the 9 o'clock sunsets. That happened a while ago. The first week of August was the driest day of the year. Now we're starting the slow trend toward our rainy season. Like the odds of rain creep up just a little bit each day. And now the temperatures are starting their downward trend. So I know I posted this on my blog on Monday about how we've started it, and it just blew up. I've had on Facebook almost 1,000 comments. So I think, and vast majority of them are ready for autumn. We're done with not all. There are a lot of people who are like, no, I want this to be sunny and 78 for like months. But, and I want to make sure those people out there, that's fine. That's good that they're out there too. But there were a lot of people ready for fall.
Meteorologist Scott Sistek from Emerald City Weather blog, emeraldcityweather.com. Scott, thanks for your time this morning.
Sure thing.
6:53 now, time to check traffic on the threes. Chris Sullivan is watching the roads for us.
And we are looking at a relatively normal Wednesday morning. Brake lights maybe a little Better than a typical Wednesday, though, especially coming down from the north end, because we're not up to an hour yet from Everett to Seattle or Bellevue. It's only 50 minutes. I know you have a lot of braking to deal with on 405 south of Canyon Park and I-5 south of the golf course, Jackson, that is, not the Nile, down past the Forest Verge at Northgate, but it doesn't extend as far, so not too bad. Northbound 405 still kind of struggling through the S-curves. We started the hour with a crash near Sunset, and the one by Talbot never really materialized, so give yourself about 30 minutes from Renton to Bellevue. Spill over onto the Valley Freeway gives us about a 48-minute trip from Puyallup to Renton. Both directions of 512 are a little heavy at their terminus, westbound at I-5 and eastbound as you get down to 167 in Puyallup. Looking at Olympia to Tacoma, no problems for you guys. Federal Way to Seattle. We do have a crash at the on-ramp from Albro to northbound I-5, so not on the freeway, but enough to cause the slowing that we're seeing past the West Seattle Bridge, and that gives us the 50-minute trip from Federal Way to Seattle. The lake bridges are fine. Still looking for the reason for why we're so slow on westbound 16 getting through Port Orchard and around the corner at Sinclair Inlet through Gorst up 3 towards Bremerton. There were reports of a crash a little closer to Charleston there as you pull off into Bremerton, but I don't see it on my cameras, and the camera in Gorst, I'm blinded by the sun, so I can't really tell. But either way, there's a couple of minutes lost going westbound on 16 and definitely northbound on 3 trying to get up through Gorst. So that's a little unusual. If you're over there and you can text us when you get where you're going, let me know what you're seeing. That would be helpful, and I can spread the word. This report brought to you by Bucky's Complete Auto Care. Is your car's AC blowing warm air? Well, don't sweat it. Save $50 on any AC service at Bucky's. 16 family-owned locations, no appointment needed. Bucky's.com.
Blinded by the light in Gorst.
I should write a song about
You
that.
should.
Sounds like a good hook.
Yeah. We can workshop it.
All right.
These morning clouds, if you have them, apparently they don't in Gorst, but if you do have morning clouds, they'll burn off. We're looking for highs in the mid-70s today. Coming up, we have more of the day's headlines, including KIRO Newsradio's Jillian Raftery on the push from Seattle City Leader to crack down on rental junk fees. That's on the way on Seattle's Morning News.
This is it. These are the nights. The ones where you laugh until you can't anymore. And smile until your head hits the pillow. Where everything feels just right. Because it is. Muckleshoot Casino Resort. Must be 21 and over. Please gamble responsibly.
KIRO FM and HD1 Tacoma, Seattle.
Hey, Jake Skorheim here. Beat the rain and beat the mad rush. Valentine Roofing is now offering priority scheduling for your roof replacement. When you call Valentine Roofing today, they can get your job started within 3 weeks of signing the agreement. And they make the process so simple. You're going to receive an estimate with transparent pricing and options that fit your needs in about an hour. So call 206 Roofing to schedule your free estimate. That's 206 Roofing. And remember, when you see the red Valentine van, you know your home is in good hands.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-330-8323 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-330-8323. That's 800-330-8323. What do you have to lose? Call 800-330-8323. Again, 800-330-8323.
Summer calls for road travel across our region. Have you noticed more vehicles on our highways and local roads? Obviously, traffic in the city is going to be crowded, especially with the Ship Canal Bridge construction. But there have been a ton more people heading north on I-5 and east on I-90 for weekends and holidays than again on Sundays coming home. More people on the roads means more accidents. And if you're not careful, you'll find yourself on the shoulder exchanging information. If you're one of the unlucky ones or know a friend or family member, reverse your fortune by having Herald Car Law Offices deal with insurance. While you're resting, receiving physical therapy, and taking time off work, Harold Carr Law Offices will negotiate with insurance on your behalf while compiling necessary paperwork and getting you the best recovery possible. 7 locations across Western Washington and a track record of success for their clients. Carr is spelled with 2 R's. C-A-R-R. CarLaw.com. C-A-R-R. Car accident? Call Carr.
I'm Dr. Mark Shelley, a chiropractic neurologist at Sound Pain Solutions. Carrie injured her back years ago. This is her story.
My herniated disc was so significant that they did the first surgery, the laminectomy and a microdiscectomy. The first surgery failed, and I ended up with another herniated disc, which is pretty typical that herniations just move up your spine. The doctor was recommending another fusion surgery, so I researched alternative therapies. Sound Pain Solutions developed a plan that included bioelectric therapy, laser therapy, decompression, pressure wave therapy, in addition to rehab. Once we started that comprehensive approach, it went phenomenally. They honestly have given me my life back, and I'm happy to help other patients find sound pain solutions sooner.
Schedule a free consultation to learn if you qualify for our non-surgical and drug-free treatments at soundpainsolutions.com.
It's Olympic Hot Tub's 49th birthday, and you get the gifts. Big savings on saltwater hot spring spas, plus free Bluetooth music and interest-free financing for 3 years. OlympicHotTub.com. Better you, better life.
Your best source for local news. KIRO Newsradio, KIRO FM and HD1, Tacoma, Seattle, Northwest News.
ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. New numbers on inflation. ABC's Elizabeth Schulze with more on today's consumer price index numbers. They were once again well above the Fed's targeted rate of 2% year over year. ABC's Elizabeth Schulze.
This was pretty much in line with expectations. That 3.4% inflation rate is about where analysts thought it would be when you look at kind of across the board prices in the economy. It's a good thing that we don't see that number going up, that inflation isn't accelerating, but it is still above where the Federal Reserve and overall households want inflation to be.
Prices are still rising more quickly than average wages, underscoring the struggle many Americans have had with higher gas, food, and clothing prices. Moderate Democrat David Crowley narrowly winning the Wisconsin primary for governor, defeating Democratic Socialist Francesca Hong. Minnesota Lieutenant Governor Peggy Flanagan won that state's Democratic Senate primary, and Darlene Graham is headed to a runoff for her brother Lindsey Graham's seat. This is ABC News. We're learning more about the upcoming trial of accused CEO killer Luigi Mangione after a pretrial hearing on Tuesday. The judge said that jurors would be kept anonymous to avoid harassment, intimidation, or outside influence. Defense lawyers and prosecutors are now working out a questionnaire for potential jurors. If you're in certain parts of the world today, you'll get the treat of seeing a total eclipse of the sun. ABC's Maggie Ruley's in one of those places, Iceland.
People will see that rare moment when the moon aligns perfectly with the sun, casting a shadow over the earth. Starting in northern Russia, the solar eclipse will pass over a mostly uninhabited area of Greenland, crossing directly over the western edge of Iceland before making its way to Spain and Portugal just before sunset.
That wasn't the only cool thing in the skies, or won't be. This morning, there was a parade of planets that let people see Mercury, Jupiter, Mars, and Saturn without any assistance. Adding a telescope would let you see Uranus and Neptune. I'm Sherry Preston, ABC News.
7:02, here's what's happening. There were emotional scenes in a Snohomish County courtroom yesterday. The man behind the deadly Edmonds ferry dock plunge that killed 2 people was sentenced to about 7.5 years. The daughter of one victim told him her mother got in the car not knowing they were going to die because of you. A registered sex offender is under arrest, accused of sunbathing nude at Mukilteo's Lighthouse Park while children and families were nearby. Spokane area evacuees can all go home. Every evacuation order has been lifted, but officials warn fire danger remains high. And a rough night in the Bronx. The Mariners dropped their 5th straight against the Yankees now. Cal Raleigh pointing the finger at himself, calling his own play, quoting here, awful. It's time to check traffic. We do that every 10 minutes. Here's Chris Sullivan.
And no real surprises, Charlie, as we start the 7 o'clock hour. The heaviest braking we have right in the normal spots. Some positive news, though, is the crash that we had on northbound I-5 near the Michigan curve, really right at the Albro on-ramp, appears to have taken care of itself, and so the backup there is going away. And we're back down to about 45 minutes from Federal Way to Seattle, which is a win on a Wednesday. That's a really fast trip, actually. Northbound 167 is under 50 minutes. That's actually a win as well. The Renton S-curve's not too bad. We're back under a half an hour to go from Renton to Bellevue. It's about 27 minutes. Coming down from the north end, the typical brake lights here and there. We're looking at about an hour from Everett to Bellevue, with 40 of those minutes away from Linwood. Only 30 minutes from Linwood to Seattle, and 50 minutes total. Still looking for something on westbound 16 to northbound 3 there through Port Orchard and Gorst. Had reports of a crash a little closer to Bremerton, but I can't see it on my cameras. But there are some brake lights there and a little extra slowing right at Sinclair Inlet. This report brought to you by Subaru of Puyallup. During the Subaru Lot to Love event going on now through August 31st, enjoy great financing on select new cars at Subaru of Puyallup. Subaru of Puyallup, it is your stress-free dealership.
Now, the latest from KIRO Newsradio and MyNorthwest.com.
Live from East Lake Avenue,
Seattle's morning news.
Good morning. It's 7:04. I'm Charlie Harger. Manda Factor has the morning off. Seattle just passed one of the biggest rental rule changes in years. They banned a long list of what they call junk fees. KIRO News Radio's Jillian Raftery has been following this process and what it means for renters.
And what it means is a lot of paperwork, but hopefully more clarity for people who want to know up front what they're going to pay. It also could mean that your rent is going to jump up again because fees will just get baked in. So the Seattle City Council banned a bunch of fees, and they also required disclosure in the first pages of the lease. So that's the clarity part. You talk about fees. Here's the deal, though. Renters say fees have gotten out of control, like pet rent. We all know that. A fee to just pay rent and utilities, common area usage fees, appliance fees, and a lot of these are not optional. And when I'm talking about appliances, I'm talking about appliances in your unit. Samantha Grad is with Teamsters Local 117 and spoke to the City Council.
We are seeing folks all across our community experience this death by 1,000 cuts, and that's what these rental junk fees feel like.
This last meeting was over 3 hours. Here's Po Lampai with the Washington Housing Alliance.
Renters in Seattle are sharing that fees are oftentimes added after move-in at lease renewal, trapping tenants who can't afford to move.
And here's Alexia Sattler, a renter in South Lake Union who works 2 jobs while going back to school. She says she pays $75 a month just for her cat.
For every single apartment I rented in Seattle, I found myself going back and forth with property managers, trying to negotiate or question what these charges were, only to be told that there was nothing they could do about it.
Small landlords were not represented well in this meeting, but they were there. They say they were not included in the process. Even supporters of the measure who are landlords say it goes overboard. Bans on renter insurance requirements and pet rent were extremely controversial. And council member Bob Kettle tried to offer an amendment to allow pet rent just for dogs, but it was not adopted.
And those costs will be passed on. I've talked to so many different types of landlords or developers that work these kinds of even affordable housing, and they talk about the challenges that they face.
So a huge number of fees are banned. They have to be disclosed up front. Some fees were allowed, like lockout fees or keys or fees to create a new key. All those changes go into effect July of next year.
Jillian Raftery reporting live. Someone isn't telling the truth about the deadly Bite of Seattle shooting. According to Como, a Seattle police spokesperson says the city is lying about delayed information. It took officials 5 hours to brief the public after the gang-related mass shooting. Detective Brian Pritchard writes, leaders purposely waited for politicians like the governor to arrive. These were in leaked emails found by Como. Mayor Katie Wilson has publicly denied that claim, but that internal email reveals Pritchard calling the mayor's denial completely inaccurate. Seattle police are continuing to investigate that shooting. Interim Police Chief Andre Sales spoke at a city council committee hearing yesterday.
SWAT team responded, I would say, with less than an hour and a half, which sometimes in these situations it can take SWAT teams to assemble about 2 hours, but they responded in a great fashion of time to make sure we can preserve life.
There were questions that Sales wouldn't answer about how many suspects were involved. 3 people were killed, 4 others were wounded. Police believe 5 guns were used, 2 are still missing. A 15-year-old boy was arrested at the scene. Public Safety Committee Chair Bob Kettle laid out minute-by-minute timeline of his actions before the night of that shooting.
The shooting happened around 6 p.m. that night. Kettle says he got to Seattle Center around 7:20 when the scene was still active.
My escort, again, I did not know it was an active with the IMAX SWAT operation, was a Seattle Center security officer, and I should note a former Marine.
At 8:57, Kettle says he was briefed in the Seattle Center Armory basement and joined a 26-minute conference call that included Governor Ferguson, Mayor Wilson, Congresswoman Pramila Jayapal, then Police Chief Sean Barnes, and others. He says he later declined an invitation to the 10:50 p.m. news conference. Frank Lindsay, KIRO News Radio.
Keeping you informed since 1974. This is the city's longest-running radio news show.
Seattle's Morning News on KIRO News Radio.
That wasn't you saying woohoo, was it, Sully?
No, not at all. That was totally on the track. Ask Nick.
Welcome to Seattle's Morning News. It's Wednesday, August 12th edition. I'm Charlie Harger. Manda Factor has a day off. That is Sully over there, our biggest woohoo in the building.
Something like that.
Nick Cretia is at the board today, picking the tunes. David Burbank is in the studio producing the show. Katrina Gashard is out at the news desk filling these big stories today. And Jillian Raftery is in for Luke Ducey this morning. And the great news is, if you've been listening, Luke had a procedure for a pituitary tumor yesterday, and we have been told by his family he is doing just fine. So that is great news to share with you.
Did great, no complications.
That is
for
fabulous news. So now he just needs to have a full and healthy recovery and get back here when he can. Coming up this hour of the show, the fight to repeal Washington's income tax getting more complicated. Initiative 645 will be on the November ballot, but the description of what you're actually voting for may leave a lot of people confused. We'll go over everything with former state AG Rob McKenna. It is 7:10 here on Seattle's Morning News. Oh, the 7:35 commentary. Sound Transit about to do something unprecedented with light rail stations. We'll talk about that at 7:35. People forced from their homes by the Spokane complex fires are getting the all-clear to return. Officials lifted the last remaining evacuation levels yesterday afternoon. Here's KIRO 7 TV's Brooke Griffin.
Spokane Mayor Lisa Jo Brown says it takes more than a village to help this many victims.
As soon as the fires began, the recovery begins, and it's a complicated, multi-agency process. But you can see everyone pulling together to try to navigate this as effectively as we can.
And fire officials tell us there are still more than 1,500 firefighters on the ground monitoring hotspots and driving around looking for people who just simply need help.
A new state fund designed to fix police staffing shortages is funding very few officers. Here's KIRO News Radio's Katrina Gashard.
The Jason Ranch Show on Seattle Red 770 AM reports the state recently handed out nearly $47 million. But that first round of funding only paid for 74 new officers across all of Washington. Some departments took massive grants without adding a single officer to the streets. For example, the Auburn Police Department took home nearly $4 million but hired nobody. Officials say departments can legally spend the money on other needs like mental health response and community outreach. However, state law does not require agencies to report exactly how they spend the rest of the money. Katrina Gashard, KIRO News Radio.
Bellevue police investigating a dangerous gasoline theft that sparked a car fire at an apartment complex on Village Park Drive Southeast. Here's KIRO News Radio's James Lynch.
Bellevue police say the suspect or suspects tried to siphon gas from the vehicle early Saturday morning, igniting a fire that destroyed the vehicle and damaged another. Fortunately, no one was injured. Here's Bellevue PD's Drew Anderson.
Bellevue is a safe community, but crime does happen, and when it happens, we want to be notified so then we could hold those folks responsible for committing those crimes accountable.
Anderson says this kind of crime is unusual for Bellevue. He's asking anyone with information to call the non-emergency line at 425-577-5656. James Lynch, KIRO News Radio.
At 7:12, we get a check on the weather. We're joined by KIRO 7 pinpoint meteorologist Nick Allard. Got sun in some spots, but clouds in others.
Yeah, it's just mostly that marine cloud cover, and it's just going to get out of here. You'll go for sunshine increasing. I really think it'll be a nice day. Just going to find morning clouds, afternoon sun. The tricky thing is, you're also going to see some chances for showers and thunderstorms in and around the Olympics and the North Cascades and east of the Cascades. So knowing that, which really isn't that big of a deal, you just have high fire danger. And with that coming through, I also think you're going to find some north wind at around 5,000 feet, pushing in some smoke and some haze. I'm not thrilled about that because that means you're going to see more of it. I don't think it's going to impact air quality, but there could be just enough where it's, just giving us the hazy sunshine. Highs are going to be in the mid to upper 70s. Tomorrow, I think there is also hazy sunshine, but it doesn't seem like it's going to be a reduction in air quality. It may mix down to the surface for, say, like the Cascade foothills and the Cascades. Otherwise, there may be a few spots where air quality goes into moderate, but I don't see much of that yet. And we'll see same thing, clouds early and sunshine, chance for thunderstorms east of the Cascades. And then into Friday, the thunderstorm threat is mainly only east of the Cascades, but there's still some haze that should get out of here. For the weekend, you guessed it, morning clouds, afternoon sun. I don't really see haze. So we just have that coming back. I don't think it's going to be an air quality issue at this point. I'm hoping the mixing doesn't really turn into a thing. And it also looks like the low-level wind is from the ocean, which is good. So I'm not worried about it. I just don't like to see it anymore.
Thank you, Nick. Right now in Seattle, it is 60 downtown. Time to check traffic. We do that every 10 minutes, and here's Chris Sullivan.
And we're actually doing okay, Charlie, out there for a Wednesday. The brake lights are right where they should be, but you get into them faster than you might expect and get out of them faster. So our travel times are okay. I mean, we're running in about an hour from Everett into Bellevue. It is really heavy getting through the Canyon Park area, but again, nothing overly out of line. I mean, 40 minutes from Linwood down to Bellevue has become average, but
it's a reminder that, yes, it doesn't get there very often, and only when it really has to.
$15 in the southbound express toll lane already, even with a little lighter volume. For I-5, it's about 50 minutes from Everett into Seattle, so that's not too bad. We're under 50, probably closer to 45 from Federal Way into Seattle, so the I-5 corridor is not bad. Renton to Bellevue, about a half an hour. Behind that, some spillover onto the Valley Freeway, but 45 minutes there, not bad. Puyallup is in pretty good shape. Most of Pierce County is as well. Olympia to Tacoma, no problems, and we're still seeing the slowing on westbound 16 through Port Orchard, around the corner in Gorst, and up northbound 3 to what was an earlier crash trying to get into Bremerton. This report brought to you by Seattle Sports. Download the Seattle Sports app and stay in the know with the latest news, scores, and opinions about your favorite teams.
For more than 50 years, the voice Seattle trusts. This is Seattle's Morning News on KIRO Newsradio.
Good morning, it's 7:15. A person living at a Spanaway home is under arrest for arson at the same property where a man was shot to death earlier this week. Pierce County deputies discovered the victim inside a shed Monday with what appeared to be at least 2 gunshot wounds to the head. Then around 3 p.m. yesterday, firefighters responded to a fire at the home. Ross Harbin, who lives nearby, tells KIRO 7 TV he had just seen the man on Friday.
I caught him one time weeding in my backyard. Yeah.
Just to help you out?
Yeah, because I told him it needed to get done.
An arrest has been made in the arson. It's unclear if it has any relation to the shooting. The man who pleaded guilty to 4 felony charges related to driving off the Edmonds Ferry dock in June of 2025 learned his fate yesterday. William Russell Leonard was sentenced to 7 years in prison. He was running from police and under the influence at the time. 2 of his passengers, Melanie Ross and Portia Sapp, drowned. Sapp's daughter spoke at the sentencing hearing.
He's a menace to society. He's been a menace to society even before this happened.
Russell Leonard was in community custody at the time of the crash. KIRO 7 reports he quietly apologized before the judge delivered the sentence. As we head to November, voters will see Initiative 645 on the ballot. It's a push to repeal the state's 9.9% income tax on millionaires. But what voters will also see for the first time is a warning label on this initiative, a one-sentence disclosure written by the Attorney General's office that says repealing the income tax would decrease funding for K-12 education, higher education, and health care. Last week on Friday, a Thurston County judge upheld the language and shut the door door on any challenge. Former state AG Rob McKenna is one of the lead attorneys trying to overturn the income tax in court. Joins us now live. Rob, good morning. And we should be upfront with listeners. You are actively litigating against this income tax, so you have a little skin in the game beyond the legal commentary. Wanted to be clear about that, but I'm just curious, what was your takeaway with the court hearing on Friday?
Well, the Superior Court judge who ruled against the challenge to the ballot statement was pretty passionate about it, and argued that or concluded that the statement was just fine. Because it's, I think as he said, it doesn't violate the Constitution to provide voters with more information. But the challengers to the ballot statement are saying, look, the statement claims that this repeal of the tax would reduce funding for specific categories of state funding, such as education. The problem with that is twofold. One, this proposed tax would increase the state budget by maybe $3 billion, and you've got a $60 billion state budget that you're dealing with. Actually, it is an $80 billion state budget you're dealing with here. So it's a small increase in the size of the state budget. So would it, or no, not necessarily, because the state legislature decides how money from the general fund is spent. And, the idea that cuts to education, for example, are inevitable assumes that the state legislature would make certain decisions. And remember, this money doesn't even start coming in until 2029. So this is all coming from a requirement adopted by the state legislature back in 2022 to put this so-called fiscal impact statement on any ballot measure that would reduce state revenues, for example, by not just by cutting taxes, but remember, Charlie, what they're saying here is that if you don't increase funding, it's a cut, right? That's the issue that I used to deal with all the time when I was chairman of the King County Council Budget Committee. Someone would propose an increase in spending, and if we increased the spending by less, they called it a cut, which is what people call an Olympia cut, or I guess a King County cut. So that's sort of the dynamics here. The state legislature passed this fiscal impact statement requirement for initiatives precisely to make it harder to pass measures that would repeal new taxes.
So the Let's Go Washington team had a team of lawyers in the courtroom ready to argue on Friday, but the judge first heard Arthur West's case and just made his ruling based on that. The Haywood group is not happy they didn't get to present. So does it matter who argued?
Well, it can matter, yes. I mean, Brian Haywood's group is the sponsor of the initiative, and they've got their own legal team. I'm not on that team. I'm not involved in the initiative legal issues, but it's really disappointing they didn't get a chance to present their arguments, since they went to the trouble of drafting the measure and getting it qualified in record time with an enormous number of signatures, way more than they needed, which says something about the intensity of voter concerns about this new tax.
I heard from Andrew Villeneuve at the Northwest Progressive Institute yesterday, Rob. He was one of the architects of the PIID law, which forced this statement on the ballot. And he says that he thinks Brian Haywood is the reason this income tax is happening, in that what he has seen lately is giving Democrats a confidence to go after this income tax. What is your response to that?
Well, Villeneuve and his group claim that, the state budget really hasn't gone up 150% since 2013, which Governor Gregoire and Governor Locke have both pointed out is exactly the case. The state budget has increased by a huge amount, even adjusted for inflation and population. The budget is up 50%. So the state is spending about 50% more per person in our state in real dollars than it was a dozen years ago. And Villeneuve just denies that that's true. He said, well, there's the state economy is larger, and therefore the state budget is actually smaller relative to the state economy. And it's just kind of sort of nonsensical reasoning that is all aimed at achieving that group's goals, which is to relentlessly expand taxes and state spending, because that's where they get their rewards, right? They get the rewards from extracting more from state taxpayers. So I don't think that kind of criticism is particularly credible.
What is your take? Do you think the Supreme Court will take up the question of the wording on the ballot?
The wording on the ballot is directed by the statute. The statute, which Villeneuve and the other people who want to drive state spending up helped write, says that the public impact disclosure statement has to say this measure would increase or decrease funding for description of services. So the Attorney General was following the formula in the statute. The problem with the statute is with the statute itself. And it's interesting that there was another court case involving another aspect of the ballot measure that another Superior Court judge ruled on. In that ruling, she said that edits to the explanatory statement, so that's the longer statement that explains how an initiative will work and what effects it will have, did not need to be changed, even though opponents of the initiative sued, proposing changes that they said would make it clearer how the law directs revenue from tax collections to be deposited in the general fund. She said that it would be, quote, both inaccurate and misleading to voters to say the tax is directed to certain uses. And she's right. The tax goes into the general fund. It's up to the legislature to decide what part of it is spent on education versus, the Department of Corrections or another public use. And so, when this ballot title or ballot disclosure statement says it would reduce funding for certain categories of spending, it's just not accurate, because as the other Superior Court judge said, the law doesn't actually direct it. It just dumps the money into the general fund and doesn't specify that it has to be spent on particular kinds of spending. So I think she was right. It's interesting she reached that conclusion about the explanatory statement, which is a different conclusion reached by the other Superior Court judge. So we'll see what the Supreme Court has to say. But again, the AG was following the cookbook, if you will, that the legislature adopted, at the encouragement of Villeneuve and others.
All right. Former state AG Rob McKenna. Always good talking to you, Rob. And yes, Andrew Villeneuve is a listener to the show. Yes, Andrew, we will reach out to you to give you a chance to respond. Rob, thanks for your time this morning, okay?
Absolutely. Thank you.
Sully, take it away with traffic.
Well, we're up to an hour drive as well from Everett to Seattle to match the hour we have from Everett to Bellevue, maybe a little bit more on 405. So we're starting to have a little late arriving crowd, which has kind of become the norm lately. Federal Way to Seattle, about 50 minutes now, as we're definitely seeing the brake lights past the West Seattle Bridge. Up over a half an hour from Renton to Bellevue, but the Valley Freeway is under 50, so that's good. The most unusual slowing we have today is on westbound 16, trying to get around the corner in Port Orchard through Gorst. And my drivers have also been reporting it's been really heavy on the expressway getting into SeaTac Airport this morning. Haven't found any particular reason for that other than volume. This report brought to you by KIRO Newsradio's app. Text app to 888-973-5476. Download the KIRO Newsradio app. Listen to your favorite shows. Get the latest news and updates right to your phone.
This hour is brought to you by CM Heating.
Hi, thanks for calling Uline.
Wait, did the phone even ring?
Nope.
Okay, so you answered before the ring. But now you're going to put me on hold, right?
We don't do that here. We're real people answering the phone, ready to help with your order when you are.
Uline has thousands of quality products for your business and warehouse needs, always in stock, ready to ship same day, and backed by Uline's legendary 24/7 customer service. Uline, we warehouse for you.
Is your car's AC blowing warm air? Well, don't sweat it. Bucky's Complete Auto Care is here to help. Right now, you'll save $50 on any AC service. Whether it's a weekend getaway, the daily commute, you deserve a cool, comfortable ride. For over 50 years, local drivers have trusted Bucky's for honest pricing, expert repairs, guaranteed work, earning them the Carfax Preferred status. 16 family-owned locations, no appointment needed, easy financing. For $50 off your cooling system service, visit Bucky's.com.
Logan Fury did something smart. He saved hundreds on auto insurance switching to Progressive. With that money, he bought a mini treadmill. Is walking on it during video conference calls more distracting than he thought? Yes. And is that because he overestimated his foot-eye coordination? Definitely. But it's Logan's savings, and if he wants to burn calories and any chance at a promotion, we say, good for you, Logan. Switch and see if you could save with Progressive and treat yourself. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. But at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price for those 50 and up. Now you can get unlimited everything for just $35 a line. That's $35 a month for unlimited talk, text, and data. Switch to the carrier ranked #1 in network coverage and customer satisfaction and get unlimited everything for just $35 a month. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit Consumer Cellular online or in-store today. Price includes $5 credit for autopay and e-billing. Taxes and fees apply. Data speeds reduced after 35 gigabytes. Rankings done by 2025 ACSI survey.
Washington drivers share the road with thousands of semi-trucks, but new reporting and federal investigations have unveiled that as many as 1 in 5 of those trucks are operated by chameleon carriers, trucking companies that rack up crashes and safety violations only to close and reopen under a new name with a clean record. If you've been injured in a trucking accident, time may be running out to recover. Call Davis Law Group today at 206-888-8888 or visit davislawgroupseattle.com.
Pet Decorator wood flooring is the last floor you will ever need to buy. Gorgeous hand-selected wide plank wood flooring made only from American hardwoods. The most durable patented finish on the market. Protected from pets with scratch, scuff, and dent-resistant performance. Waterproof with a lifetime warranty, attractively priced. You will love your new forever floor. Call today, petdecorator.com.
Hey, it's John Curley with Dr. Kopstein from K2 Vision RLE. Doc, I heard that 50% of Americans have their lenses replaced by the time they're 75.
That's exactly right, John. As we near 50, our eye's natural lens starts to become dysfunctional. If you've now added readers to your need for glasses and contacts, it's a sign the quality and function of your natural lens is fading, and it's a steady decline towards cataracts.
Don't go another 20-plus years with poor vision, hassling with contacts and readers. Do what I did. Choose a quick, painless refractive lens exchange from K2 Vision RLE and start enjoying great vision now.
Our new lens technology is truly amazing. After replacing over 100,000 lenses, we have the experience to guide each patient to their best solution, even if that's recommending you wait a little while before RLE.
K2 Vision RLE can restore distance and near vision permanently, plus never develop a cataract. Read the reviews and schedule a free Zoom consultation now at k2visionrle.com.
Jane is a small business owner. Tell them what that's like, Jane.
Yeah, well, it's like a roller coaster with a lot of ups and downs, and some days things can feel like they're flying off the rails.
Yep, it's a lot. But the Total Solutions Advantage only from Comcast Business can help you manage it all. With the largest, fastest fiber-powered network designed for 100% reliability with business internet and wireless connect.
Nice. So everything stays on track.
The Total Solutions Advantage. No one does business like Comcast Business.
The more solutions you add, the more you save. Get started today with a qualifying internet package for as low as $60 a month when you add an advanced solution. Plus, new customers, ask how to get up to $1,500 in prepaid cards when you add 2 lines of mobile to a qualifying gig bundle. Don't wait. Call today. Limited time offer. Restrictions apply. New customers only. 1-year agreement, paperless billing, and automatic payments with bank account required. $60 offer requires 300 meg internet, security edge, and additional qualifying service. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. Prepaid card offers end 9/13/2026.
This is Justin Shirley, CEO of State Roofing and Exteriors. Our summertime savings event means 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for up to 24 months, backed by our unbeatable warranties. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com today.
Now, the latest from KIRO Newsradio and MyNorthwest.com.
Live from Eastlake Avenue,
Seattle's morning news.
Thanks for joining us this Wednesday. I'm Charlie Harger. Advocates say transgender people are fleeing red states by the thousands and have pushed Seattle to put its money where its mouth is as a welcoming city. Well, the city council just did, to the tune of $300,000 in funding for trans aid organizations. KIRO News Radio's Jillian Raftery has more.
And they're calling it a refugee crisis, with states rolling back protections on discrimination. Sometimes even transgender people are saying they're facing violence and increasing hostility in their communities, and they've been coming here. LGBTQ organizations say they are strapped. This started earlier this summer with a letter demanding an emergency declaration and other kinds of recognition. They didn't get that, but they did get this one-time funding. Alexis Mercedes Rink, Seattle City Council member, is one of the supporters here.
Internal displacement of trans Americans is real. It is being fueled by elected officials who champion anti-trans policies in state legislatures.
This was a very controversial city council session. Aaron was one of the supporters of this measure. They said they fled the Dakotas for a better life here in the Seattle area.
I have met people who are willing to donate out of pocket what little money they had to help trans people with rental assistance, food, medical costs, and other basic needs. Which leads to the question, what message does it send that those with barely a cent to their name are doing more to help the trans community than our own government?
But like I said, this was very controversial. Matthew called in and said they questioned the designation of refugees.
Just don't fully understand the term refugee, and I think it's disparaging to true refugees from other countries that need support, need funding. I don't know why Seattle taxpayers are footing the bill for people to move within the same country.
Ultimately, this did pass unanimously. $300,000 will go first to the city's Human Services Department. They'll allocate grants to what they call trusted organizations.
Jillian Raftery reporting live. Time to check traffic at 7:33. Traffic on the 3s with Sully.
And I'm still looking for any reason for why we are so slow on westbound 16 to northbound 3 through Port Orchard and Gorst. It has been really heavy all morning. Had reports of a crash, nothing confirmed, but we are seeing heavy brake lights there. I know that's through a construction zone as well, and that may just be it, but plan on some extra time there. Rest of the map looks about average for a Wednesday morning, up to about an hour and 10 from Everett to Bellevue, and about an hour from Everett to Seattle. Brake lights right where they should be, so not terrible. Federal Way to Seattle's about 50 minutes. Some brake lights past the Kent Des Moines Road. It's really at the north end of the Boeing Field area, up past the West Seattle Bridge. We're now up over 35 minutes from Renton to Bellevue. The S-curves are active, but not overly so. And about 50 minutes from Puyallup up to Renton. The lake bridges are good. 18 over Tiger Mountain's a little slow, but by most days' standards, not terrible. This traffic report is brought to you by Seattle Sports. Search Seattle Sports on YouTube. Click subscribe and get fresh video content daily. Our weather forecast today, a little change from what we've seen the last couple of days. We're going to see a little bit more cloudiness today in a temperature under 80, maybe closer to 75 degrees. The clouds are going to move out over the next day or so. We might even see some thunderstorms in the foothills today, so just keep that in mind. Tomorrow we're going to start clearing up a little bit. Temperatures going up towards the weekend. Right now we're expecting, as I said, about 75 today. Outside the KIRO Newsradio studios, we have 62 degrees.
Hear it live, stream it online, watch the show, or catch the podcast anytime.
Seattle's Morning News, wherever you are.
Time for the 7:35 commentary. What's this, a little common sense? 15 days from now, on August 27th, the Sound Transit Board is expected to vote on a pilot project that would do something a little mean. Something that the original planners of Sound Transit said was far too inconvenient, too inequitable, too expensive. And I need you to brace yourself because it's a little mean, like I said. They're thinking of installing gates at some stations. You okay? Can I get you something? Okay, I'll wait for you to compose yourself. Yes, Sound Transit is considering doing something just about every transit system in the nation does. They're sort of thinking you should be, and I realize this sounds harsh, they think you should pay to ride. Not for sure yet, but that's what we do for a pilot project. Yeah, paying to ride the light rail. Now, I know what you're thinking. Wait, people aren't paying to ride? Exactamundo, my friend. The most optimistic estimate is that only 63% of light rail riders pay. But that's a rosy estimate. Sound Transit workers who reach out to Seattle's Morning News say it's far fewer than that. Sound Transit Light Rail has never had a gate. In the beginning, they said gates were too expensive, and no doubt they thought we're special here in Seattle, and because of that, fare evasion would be minimal. That would be wrong. And since the gates were never part of the plan, gates just don't work at some locations. That's especially true for the surface street locations like those in the Rainier Valley. Then there's the equity of it all. They fear that this places too high of a burden on poor and minority communities. But if you look at the policies of Sound Transit, you'll see a great carve-out. Low-income riders only have to pay $1 for a ride. 18 and younger, it's free. If you're over 65, it's $1. You're disabled, $1. Now, the last time I brought this up in a commentary, a listener named David R. from Mercer Island reached out. That's the name on the email, at least. David writes, keep hounding them, Charlie. Non-enforcement is also patronizing. It feels like the privileged class are saying, in a stuffy British accent, we must accept that the lower classes are just too stupid to tap a card. It might be fun to track down the pressure groups pushing this and the staff people who wrote the supporting memos, especially if it turns out they actually have British accents. Now, that's some drive-by wisdom for the masses, one listener at a time, if I've ever heard it. Thanks for the suggestion, Dave. I mean, David. One of those pressure groups, how about the Transit Riders Union? They were against most enforcement tactics back when it was voted on in 2018. Now, who was leading that group at the time? Well, it was an activist named Katie Wilson. She's now the mayor of Seattle. Oh, and then King County executive Dow Constantine was the guy who introduced the legislation to soften fare enforcement in 2018. His argument back then was no one should end up in the court system because they can't afford a ticket. Constantine was also the Sound Transit board chair back then. He's now the CEO of Sound Transit. So enforcement took a backseat, and this is where we are now. The idea is to put gates at the 14 busiest stations where the very mean thing of making people tap their cards would start happening. The estimates are this would bring in an extra $30 million a year for Sound Transit. Installing the gates would cost between $80 and $90 million. In other words, the gates would pay for themselves in about 3 years, and after that, it just adds to the bottom line. Now, Sound Transit is still billions in the red. There's no realistic way it's going to be able to expand to Ballard and the other locations that were promised when they voted yes on ST3. Fare enforcement won't fix these huge problems. But at least it's a start. And that's a commentary for Wednesday, August 12th, 2026. Text your thoughts to the Muckleshoot Casino and Resort text line, 888-973-5476. Join the chat on our YouTube Live at KIRO Newsradio. And you can always leave a comment at mynorthwest.com.
You want to know what Sound Transit told me 10 years ago when I asked him about this?
What's that, Sully?
Seattle, we're not a turnstile city. That's not how we do things in Seattle.
It's very mean.
By the way, I know I got to come up to traffic. I'll tease ahead. Give me on the text line, and Charlie, you too. What was compliance before COVID? And what was fare compliance in 2019?
I know the answer.
I know you do.
What's coming up in traffic?
We're going to take a look at the slowing on westbound 16 and take a look at the slowing coming down from the north end. We'll break it down next.
Summer calls for road travel across our region. Have you noticed more vehicles on our highways and local roads? Obviously, traffic in the city is going to be crowded, especially with the Ship Canal Bridge construction. But there have been a ton more people heading north on I-5 and east on I-90 for weekends and holidays than again on Sundays coming home. More people on the roads means more accidents. And if you're not careful, you'll find yourself on the shoulder exchanging information. If you're one of the unlucky ones or know a friend or family member, reverse your fortune by having Harold Carr Law Offices deal with insurance. While you're resting, receiving physical therapy, and taking time off work, Harold Carr Law Offices will negotiate with insurance on your behalf while compiling necessary paperwork and getting you the best recovery possible. 7 locations across Western Washington and a track record of success for their clients. Carr is spelled with 2 R's. C-A-R-R. CarLaw.com. C-A-R-R. Car accident? Call Carr.
Summer is the time to feel and look your best, but I'm not talking about your abs or tan. Guys, I'm talking about your hair. Restore that bald spot, reverse your receding hairline, or add volume to thinning during Advanced Hair's once yearly summer savings event. Advanced Hair's simple one-day treatment begins to regrow your very own hair the very next day, and they guarantee your new hair will grow. They are the team that addressed my hair loss, and I recommend them to everyone. Take advantage of your flexible summer calendar and get the most hair for your dollar. Advanced Hair's summer sales event is on for a limited time. So get the details and schedule your free consultation today. 425-449-8185. One-day treatment, life-changing results. With Advanced Hair, your new hair is guaranteed to grow. Check out the incredible before and afters and make the call now while their summer savings event is still on. That's 425-449-8185 or advancedhair.com.
Say goodbye to clogged gutters and climbing ladders. With K-Guard by Guardian, leaves stay out, water flows freely, and your home stays protected year-round. Enjoy true peace of mind, no maintenance and no rust. Choose from a variety of colors to match your home's look and boost your curb appeal. Ready for hassle-free gutters? Protect what matters most with Guardian, the original Make Your Roof Last company. Visit GuardianRoofing.com to learn more.
I'm driving a new Subaru Forester Touring Hybrid from Carter Subaru. It is so comfy, loaded with family-friendly safety features, and with high gas prices right now, I am loving my first hybrid. Right now, you can get a 2026 Subaru Crosstrek starting at 1.9% financing for 36 months on approved credit. Visit Carter Subaru during the Subaru A Lot to Love event. Ballard, Shoreline, or CarterSubaru.com.
On approved credit, subject to vehicle insurance and availability. A documentary service fee may be added to the sale price or capitalized cost. See dealer for details. Valid through 8/31/26.
At 7:43, we check traffic on the threes with Sully.
All right, to pay off on our T's, Charlie, what was compliance, fair compliance in 2019?
I believe 83% allegedly.
It was closer to 90.
Yeah.
It was closer to 90 according to Sound Transit's numbers. Gee, what happened since then? Defund, deploy, get rid of it.
So what's traffic look like?
Get rid of cops on.
How's traffic, Sully?
Yeah. I don't know. I'm looking at light rail. I'm focused on light rail. No, we're looking at really heavy traffic away from Linwood, where they do have a light rail station, which they did not in 2019. Looking at about an hour and 10-minute trip from Everett down into Bellevue. About an hour and 10 as well from Everett to Seattle. The I-5 corridor really slow from about 145th, but you really don't hit the brakes at all from Everett until you get down through Shoreline there. Looking at northbound 405, Renton to Bellevue is about 40 minutes now, depending on how you hit the volume right at over the top of I-90 into Bellevue. Behind that, the Valley Freeway is about 48 to 50 minutes, so not terrible. About 50 from Federal Way to Seattle. Heaviest brake lights there right from the north end of Boeing Field past the West Seattle Bridge. West Seattle Bridge itself is not terrible. Olympia to Tacoma is not too bad. Under 40 minutes for you guys. Most of Pierce County is fine. A little slowing on eastbound 512, but you can handle that. And again, the most unusual slowing today is through that construction zone and the new kind of jog we have on westbound 16 through Port Orchard, getting around the corner in Gorst. One of my drivers did say we had a car with a blown out tire and a cop behind it as you headed into Bremerton, but again, expect some slowing coming up out of Bethel. KIRO Newsradio real-time traffic. I'm Chris Sullivan.
Morning clouds, if you have them, burn off for afternoon. Partly sunny skies, 75 are high. Right now, it's 60 in Seattle. We're here for Closets by Design. I'm sure you could go to the hardware store and buy something off the shelf. That would be fine, I guess. But it won't be custom designed for your home. That's exactly what Closets by Design does. They do so many things beyond just closets, laundry rooms, home offices, wall beds, entertainment centers, mudrooms, everything. The thing is, they custom build it for your home. It is designed for your home and your routines. There's nothing off a shelf, nothing pre-made. That's because things are designed right by Closets by Design, and your day will go smoother because of them, with less clutter and less frustration, because everything finally has a place custom designed for your home. Right now, for a limited time, you can get 40% off plus an additional 15% off and 18 months 0% financing on approved credit if paid in full. Go to closetbydesign.com or call 1-800-BY-DESIGN to get your project started today.
The Black Crowes, live in the Tulalip Amphitheater, Sunday, August 30th. Tickets are on sale now. Details at TulalipCasino.com.
Is your car's AC blowing warm air? Don't sweat it. Right now, save $50 on any AC service at Bucky's Complete Auto Repair. Honest pricing, guaranteed work, 16 family-owned locations, and no appointment needed. Stay cool this summer. Bucky's.com.
Hi, I'm Terry from Sky Nursery, and our summer event season is here. We have something exciting planned for you every weekend all summer long. See thousands of beautiful flowers at the 50th Anniversary Dahlia Show. Enjoy a 2-day Ikebana exhibition on Japanese floral arranging. Join workshops on mosaics, bonsai, and even carnivorous plant terrariums. As a family-owned garden center, Sky Nursery loves partnering with local artists and makers to celebrate a vibrant creative community. See our summer schedule at skynursery.com.
Hey there, Dawn Riley with Olympic Hot Tub. It's our 49th birthday, and we're celebrating by giving you the gifts. Outstanding savings on saltwater hot spring spas, free Bluetooth music, and interest-free financing for 3 years. Plus, exciting savings on endless pool swim spas, saunas, and cold plunges. How's that for a birthday to remember? Ends August 24th. OlympicHotTub.com. Better you, better life.
Olympic Hot Tub.
Old windows cost you money and security. Lake Washington Windows and Doors installs energy-efficient, high-security windows that lower your bills and increase protection. With leak armor installation and lifetime warranties, you're protected for life. Choose LakeWashingtonWindows.com today.
Keep summer outside where it belongs. Save $588 on every window and $1,088 on every door, plus free heat deflecting glass. Claim your free quote today, plus 12 months no payments. Visit LakeWashingtonWindows.com.
Seattle's Morning News on KIRO Newsradio.
Glad to have you along with us on this Wednesday. Families already gearing up for back to school. One big concern from parents and teachers around the country is how to get students off their phones and focused on classwork. Child psychologists urge caregivers to ease their children back into the academic routine by tapering off screen time before the first day of class. Good luck on that. Let's get more details from ABC's Jim Ryan. Good morning, Jim. So what are you hearing here about the methods parents are, because I'd love to learn. I'd, get my teenager away from the phone.
Well, setting by example, leading by example, maybe going for a couple of days, telling your kid, look, I'm going to stay off my phone for 3 hours today. Let's see if you can do the same thing. Trying to lead by example. You guys have a little time left. I mean, schools around here have already started here in Texas, but I think you've got till September 2nd.
Yeah, it depends. That sounds about right.
Yeah, so being gradual about it. It's the same way that you want to ease them into their new sleep schedule, right? So if they're getting to bed now at 10:30, 11 o'clock at night, start backing that down little by little until September 2nd when they're back on a normal sleep schedule. Back time it from the time they're supposed to get up in the morning to make it to school and figure out how, that's going to fit into an 8-hour night of sleep. But yeah, same thing with phones. Ease them off just a little bit of time. Especially if they spend a lot of time on that device, because in some schools, and I know a lot across Seattle, that there is this ban essentially on devices in classrooms. You got to leave it off, keep it off during the school day.
What is the research showing about how kids are affected by smartphone usage, especially during the school day?
Well, yeah, their attention span is affected by that, their ability to function socially with other kids. And anecdotally, you'll see the reverse is in place in districts that do have some sort of prohibition in place. Oklahoma, for example, has a statewide ban on smartphones, devices, even smart watches in the classroom during the school day. And teachers and parents there say, yeah, the kids are learning better. They're becoming more socially adept. They're making friendships, and their grades are seeing some improvement. They've had that in place for about a year now, so there is some track record. So, yeah, in districts that are still feeling their way, and I know that a lot of places it's kind of left to the districts as opposed to a state mandate. But it appears to be working. So it's more like what kids in the 70s and 80s were dealing with. They didn't have smartphones. They had to deal with books.
What kind of momentum are we seeing this for kind of a nationwide movement? I know there's a proposal that is set to hit our state legislature at the beginning of next year.
Sure. Well, there are 39 states and Washington, D.C. that have state laws or policies, at least, that require or encourage local school districts to do something about it. It's rare that there would be a statewide policy on this like they have in Oklahoma. But I think this is kind of the direction it's going, Charlie, that the school administrators at the local level are being asked to do something about this, because I think what it means is that administrators and psychologists and parents see some harm in kids having their phones with them all day. Of course, they need to weigh that against school safety, making sure their kids can reach their parents if they need to in an emergency, and vice versa. So still a lot to work out with this.
What is the one app that you find hard to resist, that you find yourself, Jim, you're at home, you're like, I have to check this one more time today?
Ruzzle. That's the game I like. Or the New York Times puzzle page. Those are the ones that I can't do it.
Ruzzle. Okay. Right. And yeah, I have to agree on the New York Times puzzle page as well. And now I know a new site, Ruzzle. Thanks, Jim. Yeah. That's ABC's Jim Ryan. You looked up Ruzzle, right, Sully?
Yeah, it's like a word game based on Boggle.
Okay.
If you're not familiar, so kind of lining up words in lines and columns. So I haven't played it either.
Yeah, my first thing in the morning, I play Wordle. Like, that just gets my brain working first thing in the morning. They did have Sully as one of the Wordle answers, as you found out about a couple of months ago.
Yeah, it was kind of a big deal for 5 minutes.
Yeah. What is your main app?
I do Wordscapes.
Wordscapes.
It's like a kind of a crossword Wordle kind of a thing with no hints or anything. It's just kind of a grid. You get a couple of letters and you fill them in based on the letters involved.
And you play a Simpsons game as well.
No, not really.
Oh,
that was the Simpsons tapped out, went away a few years ago. I've got Madden mobile updated here.
Okay, all right.
So I do that one for the kind of daily.
Got it. What about you, producer David? What are you stuck on? You have to play.
I'm not a huge gamer, but I do like there's a just like an MLB baseball game where you can kind of create your own rosters. And then it's really easy to like run up the score. So obviously I play as the Mariners and recreate the reality that I wished we had.
Your alternate universe Mariners.
Exactly.
I love it. It's 7:53. We check traffic on the 3. Sully, where do we start?
Well, first of all, I just have to say thank you to Tommy, my son. He got me the new Lego Dark Knight Batman for the PS5.
Okay. Those Lego games are so fun.
I got to ask a serious question for the listeners on the text line. Why are the missions so darn long now? When you used to play the original Lego ones, it would take like 10 minutes. I played one yesterday. I was in for 90 minutes and didn't get all of the little hidden. So now I got to go back and free play. It's amazing, but 90 minutes for one little thing? I was like,
you know what else is amazing?
Traffic. I know, I got to do my job, but hit me up on the text line if they've gotten a little too long. Looking at the drive now, we're getting closer to an hour and 15 from Everett into Bellevue, about an hour and 10 from Everett to Seattle, kind of the normal stuff for you guys. Brake lights right where they should be, but not overly terrible for a Wednesday. Northbound I-5, though, we've added a few more customers, especially past the West Seattle Bridge through the merging there, so we're getting closer to an hour from Federal Way to Seattle. That's the highest travel time of the morning. Northbound 405, the Renton S-curves are active. Have a little break in Factoria, and it's not terrible into Bellevue, but overall about 40 minutes for you guys. Valley Freeway's been okay today. We're under 50. Olympia to Tacoma's about 40 with some brake lights at South Tacoma. Eastbound 16 starting to see some stuff past Cheney Stadium, but nothing you can't handle. It's westbound 16 that's really heavy today from Bethel all the way up around the corner in Gorst. We have a new traffic kind of configuration there through that construction zone. I think that might be to blame. Lake bridges are fine. This report brought to you by Carpet Liquidators. August is Karastan month at Carpet Liquidators. Purchase beautiful Karastan carpet, get free insulation. Why pay retail? We got you covered at Carpet Liquidators.
Forecast calls for a high of 75 in Seattle after morning clouds burn off. Right now, it's 61 downtown. Coming up, KIRO News Radio's Jillian Raftery reports on the push from Seattle city leaders to crack down on rental junk fees. And a big tattoo expo coming to Seattle. KIRO News Radio's Paul Holden has a preview at 8:15. You're listening to Seattle's Morning News right here on KIRO News Radio. I've lived here almost my entire life.
Seattle's morning news host, Charlie Harger.
I love Seattle. I love that I'm able to raise my children here.
Hear Charlie's 7:35 commentary every morning on Seattle's morning news.
So when I see something that I think might need some attention, that's me pointing out areas of improvement. That is not me saying that Seattle is somehow bad.
You can watch all of Charlie's commentaries anytime on the KIRO Newsradio YouTube channel.
KIRO FM and HD1, Tacoma, Seattle.
Guys, if you have low energy or reduced drive, it could be low testosterone. At Revive Health here in Seattle, start with a free testosterone exam and consultation with an experienced medical provider. And for a limited time, qualified patients can get started with a free month of TRT. Schedule your free testosterone test, exam, and consultation today. Call 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit revivehealth.com.
This is the story of the one who keeps multiple buildings running smoothly day after day. Plumbing that flows, HVAC that hums, cleaning supplies that keep surfaces sparkling. That's why she counts on Grainger. With easy reordering online and 24/7 support, Grainger helps her keep the products she needs on hand. So shelves stay stocked and buildings stay ready. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Tired of hearing scary radio ads about the IRS? Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000 or $500,000, we have a solution. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS with zero risk to you. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with a BBB. End your tax nightmare today by visiting TRA.com or call 800-583-6681. That's 800-583-6681.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. With the price of just about everything going up, we thought we'd bring our prices down. So to help us, we brought in a reverse auctioneer, which is apparently a thing.
Mint Mobile Premium Wireless. How to get 30, 30, to get 30, to get 20, 20, 20, to get 20, 20, to get 15, 15, 15, 15, just $15 a month. Sold!
Visit mintmobile.com/radio. Upfront payment of $45 for 3 months, $90 for 6 months, or $180 for 12-month plan required. $15 per month equivalent. Taxes and fees extra. Initial plan term only. Greater than 50 gigabytes may slow when network is busy. See terms.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer at a beverage manufacturing plant, he starts his day knowing every line is ready to run because Grainger delivers the industrial-grade products he needs to keep mixers, conveyors, and packaging equipment moving. With Grainger's vast selection of bearings, belts, and motors, he keeps operations running smoothly, so nothing grinds to a halt. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
I'm driving a 2026 Subaru Forester Touring Hybrid from Carter Subaru, and this car has made me a hybrid believer. I love the 360-degree camera. Of course, using less gas certainly doesn't hurt. Right now, get a 2026 Subaru Outback for 0.9% APR during the Subaru A Lot to Love event. Carter Subaru in Ballard, Shoreline, or cartersubaru.com.
On approved credit, subject to vehicle insurance and availability. A documentary service fee may be added to the sale price or capitalized cost. See dealer for details. Valid through 8/31/26.
Hey, it's Jason Rantz. If your air conditioner is barely hanging on, CM Heating has one of the best offers I've heard this summer. Right now, you can get any size high-efficiency AC system for just $179.99 a month with zero upfront costs. And here's the game changer. CM Heating's Comfort as a Service program includes lifetime repairs, annual maintenance, and even filters at no additional charge ever. Go to cmheating.com and schedule your free estimate online today.
License number CMHEAHL 751LW.
Packed team buses, light rail, and ferries. There are different routes to game day, but the destination is always the same. This city lives for Sunday. Get your tickets for Seahawks game days at Seahawks.com today.
Your best source for local news. KIRO Newsradio. KIRO FM and HD1. Tacoma, Seattle. Northwest News.
ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. Inflation cooling ever so slightly, dipping, but only by 0.1%. Prices up another 3.4% from June over July. The cost of gas and groceries both up year over year.
There are other parts of the economy where prices are stubbornly high, and that's in the services area. So, for example, medical care, childcare, daycare, those costs are still rising at a faster pace. That's where a lot of people feel it in their day-to-day budgets. Electricity bills, another example of that.
ABC's Elizabeth Schulze. industry. Sources tell ESPN the Los Angeles Lakers are being sold to American businessmen Josh Kushner and Bob Iger for over $12 billion. The search for survivors in the rubble of Colombia's powerful earthquake growing more desperate. There are still thousands missing. The official death toll 224. Moderate Democrat David Crowley winning the Wisconsin governor over Democratic Socialist Francesca Hong and the Democrats. This is ABC News. ABC News can report that during a conference scheduled for federal court Friday, it's expected that prosecutors and defense lawyers in the Luigi Mangione case will discuss a possible plea deal in the killing of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. That's according to sources. At least 700,000 power customers have no power across the Midwest today following a line of strong storms. Here's ABC's Sophie Flay.
Wind gusts in Columbus reaching 82 miles per hour.
It was like a freight train, just like people say.
In the town of Roseville, floodwaters submerging cars. Authorities say one person was killed. In Chicago, the Midway Air Traffic Controller Tower had to evacuate amid tornado warnings. At one point, nearly 1 million customers in Indiana, Illinois, Ohio, and Kentucky were without power.
Retired Royal Air Force pilot Andy Green reached a new record high speed, 406 miles an hour, and did it at Utah's Bonneville Salt Flats in a 32-foot car powered by 2 hydrogen combustion engines. Sherry Preston, ABC News.
At 8:02, here's what's happening on KIRO News Radio. A police spokesperson in the Bida, Seattle shooting response says the city's story is, quote, not accurate. Como reports Detective Brian Pritchard wrote in an email that the city's press briefing was delayed for dignitaries. We'll have much more on this in just a moment. The man who drove a stolen car off the Edmonds Ferry dock, killing 2 women inside, is headed to prison for just shy of 7.5 years. The judge said she couldn't, in good conscience, give less than the maximum. All evacuation orders tied to the Spokane complex fires have now been lifted. Cal Raleigh isn't mincing words about the slumping Mariners, saying, quoting here, I'm awful. The big dumper took the blame after a 5th straight loss, saying the team is playing, quoting again, very, very, very bad baseball. And if you're looking to save at the pump, Circle K offering Inner Circle members 40 cents off every gallon tomorrow at different locations. Time to check traffic. We do that every 10 minutes with Chris Sullivan.
For Wednesday, we're not in that bad a shape, Charlie. We're looking at brake lights right where they should be, and the travel times, plus or minus, are okay. I mean, even coming down from the north end, which I know you're struggling, away from Linwood on 405 down through Canyon Park, it's not as bad through Totem Lake and all the way down into Kirkland and into Bellevue. For I-5, it starts right there at 145th and extends like normal, but an hour and 15-minute trip from Everett to Seattle or Bellevue, that's about average, what we've gotten used to with where the Revive I-5 work. Want to thank my good friend Adam, who's out there doing his Staples deliveries already. Let me know. We do have a little fender bender over on the left shoulder on northbound I-5, right around 188th and SeaTac. Again, not blocking. I found it on my cams, just a couple of cars tangled up, but not too bad. A little slowing around it, but we're under an hour from Federal Way to Seattle. Under 50, Puyallup to Renton. Renton to Bellevue is about 40. S-curves are active. You hit the brakes over the top of I-90. Lake bridges, though, are in great shape. The most unusual slowing today continues to be westbound 16 through Port Orchard. I think it's just a byproduct of the new traffic switch in that area. This report brought to you by the Seattle Mariners. Don't worst fireworks nights all summer, presented by T-Mobile. Next show, August 21st, as the Mariners take on the Cubs. Get your tickets, mariners.com/fireworks.
8:04 on the Wednesday, August 12th, 2026 edition of Seattle's Morning News. I'm Charlie Harger. Seattle City Council just overhauled rental regulations. They're banning what they call junk fees. It's a signature campaign promise from Mayor Katie Wilson. And KIRO News Radio's Jillian Raftery is live with more.
Imagine moving into a new apartment. You sign a lease and see the rent, but then get hit with a wave of fees like pet rent, common area fee, office fee. What is that? A fee just to pay rent, appliance fees like for your washer and dryer.
No tenant should be forced to pay these unfair, expensive, and often deceptive fees.
Poe Lampai is with the Washington Housing Alliance and says he's heard a lot from renters about just these kinds of fees. And he spoke to the city council before yesterday's vote saying those fees are often not disclosed up front. That's going to change when the measure goes into effect next year. Landlords now will have to disclose fees in ads and in the first pages of a lease. That's just the small part of the requirement. And if you think this is an overblown issue, here's Councilmember Dion Foster, who sponsored the bill.
Research from the Urban Institute shows that junk fees can increase renters' total housing costs by 10 to 30%, making it harder for people to budget and harder for people to stay housed.
There was opposition to a lot of this bill, including from Angie, a small landlord, who says this measure builds on a pattern of overregulation in the housing market.
We are opposed to the bloated and flawed rental fee legislation.
A lot of people opposed a ban on pet rent. Haley works for a small property owner and says their company has been working to add amenities like dog runs and pet wash stations. And of course, they have to deal with waste.
And consistently cleaning up our dogs who have accidents in the elevators and lobbies. These improvements cost money to create and to maintain, and they benefit all of the tenants who have dogs in the whole building.
Ultimately, the measure passed unanimously. What this means for you, there's a huge laundry list of fees that have been banned, like pet rent, like appliance fees, like utility surcharges, and of course, that disclosure. It also could mean that rents will go up. And of course, with all of Seattle renter regulations, it might be challenged in court.
Jillian Raftery reporting live. Controversy over the Bite of Seattle shooting is boiling over now at City Hall. Como uncovered an internal email from a police spokesperson that accuses the city of spreading a false narrative. Detective Brian Pritchard said in that email, officials delayed a press conference to wait for dignitaries to arrive, despite what Mayor Katie Wilson said. Now, she strongly denies anyone was asked to hold off on releasing information. However, in Pritchard's email, he says the mayor's version of events is simply not accurate. We heard from Seattle's interim police chief about that shooting yesterday morning on the Seattle City Council.
Spoke to the lieutenant over our homicide investigation. There's some search warrants that they're writing today that they've written over the last couple of days. That's going to be fruitful to this investigation.
Now, officers were on the scene within seconds and quickly subdued one of the shooters.
Get out! Get out!
Others are believed to have been involved. No description of them has been released yet. Mayor Katie Wilson has ordered a review of communication to the public that day. At that hearing, Councilmember Rob Saka asked a question many of us are wondering.
Is there a killer on the loose? Yes or no?
Speaking with my detectives this morning, we're combing through some warrants and looking at some things. We still have to comb through some video surveillance that was there. I can't say yes or no.
Interim Chief Andre Sales added investigators are making progress. The shooting killed 3 people and injured 4 others. New details are emerging about 19-year-old Junior C. Nicosimo, one of the 3 people killed in the shooting. Court records obtained by the Times show Nicosimo was charged as a juvenile in 2024 with unlawful gun possession after police say he was found with a stolen Glock and a bump stock. The case was later dismissed as part of a sealed plea agreement. Police have said Nicosimo is believed to have been an associate of the 15-year-old boy arrested in connection with the shooting.
Keeping you informed since 1974. This is the city's longest-running radio news show.
Seattle's Morning News on KIRO Newsradio.
This is one of those songs, Nick Cretia, that when I'm driving down the road and I hear this in the afternoon, if I've got the tunes blasting, I'm like, I need to tell Nick to pick that as a bump song. And so, thank you.
Just keep it together on the road.
Thank you, Nick. Nick is picking the music and running the board for us this morning. Sully is in the studio with us as well.
Sure, that's not just a put on.
Come on, man. Producer David is here with us.
Dude.
And by the way, people have been asking on the YouTube chat, they've been saying, who's the guy in the pink shirt? I'd call it more salmon than anything.
It's salmon.
Yeah.
For sure. Delicious.
Producer Mike Seibert, you're trying to fill in a bit more for David when he takes a vacation in a couple
Absolutely.
weeks.
You'll be seeing more of my flamboyant colors in the next week or so.
Maybe stick to the pastels.
Negative, Ghost Rider. Pattern is full.
That's more sockeye than Copper River,
Oh,
certainly.
okay,
So let's
okay.
make sure we get designations here, Charlie.
I don't want to besmirch any of the salmon colorings. Well, this is Wednesday morning on Seattle's Morning News. Coming up this hour of the show, the big Seattle Tattoo Expo is this weekend. KIRO News Radio's Paul Holden spoke with a longtime artist and tattoo shop owner about the city's thriving ink community. And G. Scott stops by with his hard-hitting analysis of Seattle's Hard Knocks. Episode 2 is on the way here on Seattle's Morning News. Doctors at Harborview Medical Center are calling the rise in e-bike and e-scooter crashes an epidemic. Here's KIRO 7 TV's Jake Chapman.
Dr. Sam Arbabi, the chief of trauma at Harborview Medical Center, says the trauma goes beyond the patients.
Battle-scarred ICU nurses here that are some of the best in the world and have seen a lot. They come and they cry so much when they see this.
Harborview's data backing up Dr. Arbabi's concerns. In 2020, Harborview treated 29 patients injured from e-bike or scooter crashes and no deaths. But last year, they treated 252 patients, and 6 people died from their injuries.
It's 8:11 now. All evacuation levels tied to the Spokane complex fires have now been lifted. Officials say the remaining evacuation orders were lifted yesterday afternoon. They warned fire danger is still high, and damaged homes and buildings may be unsafe to enter. Washington State set aside millions of dollars to hire new police officers, but the money isn't bringing in many recruits. Here's KIRO News Radio's Katrina Gishard.
According to the Jason Rand Show on Seattle Red 770 AM, the state spent $46.6 million from its police hiring fund. However, that massive amount of money only funded 74 entry-level officers statewide. That works out to a staggering $630,000 per new cop. Some cities, like Auburn, collected nearly $4 million from the state but hired 0 officers. State officials say agencies are allowed to use the money for other things like equipment, training, and co-responder programs. But the state is not requiring agencies to explain exactly what they bought with the cash. Katrina Gishard, KIRO News Radio.
Port of Seattle Commission has approved initial funding for the S-Concourse Evolution Project at SeaTac Airport. The roughly $2.5 billion renovation will modernize the airport's international concourse with seismic upgrades, expanded passenger space, new amenities, improved boarding operations. Construction expected to start next year and wrap up in 2034. 8:12 now, time to get a check on the weather. Here's KIRO 7 TV pinpoint meteorologist Nick Allard.
Low clouds this morning, then sunshine. It's going to be a nice day. Just know you're going to find mid to upper 70s and cloudy conditions early, then sunshine. I also think you could find some haze coming through. And it's going to be elevated, but haze will move in. And it's not going to impact air quality. And then you'll also see a chance for some showers and thunderstorms in the Olympics, the North Cascades, and east of the Cascades. Tomorrow, I think it'll be the same basic thing, still some elevated haze and maybe some thunderstorms in the mountains and east, and then also some morning clouds. So what you get is morning clouds, afternoon sun, mid-70s today, upper 70s tomorrow, and about 80 or so on Friday. All 3 days have a little bit of elevated haze that should not really do much to air quality besides minor impacts, say in the foothills or the mountains. And then this weekend, morning clouds, afternoon sun, and temperatures right around the low 80s.
Right now in Seattle, it's 63. 8:13, time to check traffic every 10 minutes on the threes with Sully.
And we are looking at an average Wednesday drive. The heaviest spot right now, southbound I-5 from about 145th down past the Ship Canal Bridge as you work your way through the loss of the express lanes in the morning. But an hour and 10-minute trip from Everett to Seattle isn't bad by some days' standards. Some Wednesdays are up around an hour and a half. So we're actually running probably faster than you expected, even though I know it doesn't feel like it as you grind through. For 405, the brake lights begin right there in Canyon Park. It's about an hour and 10 as well from Everett down into Bellevue. Maybe a little under because you don't hit the brakes away from Linwood as soon as you might think. And they aren't bad through Totem Lake and Kirkland, which is pretty decent. Northbound I-5 looking okay through Federal Way up through South Center. Little fender bender on the left shoulder near 188th at SeaTac, but nothing to write home about. And then past the West Seattle Bridge is average. We're under an hour, probably closer to 50 minutes, Federal Way to Seattle. 50 minutes, Puyallup to Renton. The show there is from 180th on in, getting into Renton, and Renton to Bellevue is about 40. Lake bridges are quiet. Olympia to Tacoma, no problems for you guys. And we're still struggling getting through Port Orchard, though the backup no longer extends all the way back to Sedgwick Road. So that's positive. It's just really right there around the corner in Gorst. This report brought to you by Subaru of Puyallup during the Subaru Lot to Love event going on now through August 31st. Enjoy great financing on select new cars at Subaru of Puyallup. Visit SubaruofPuyallup.com, your stress-free dealership.
Seattle's tradition for news and conversation. This is Seattle's Morning News with Charlie Harger and Manda Factor.
This weekend celebrating its 25th
anniversary is the Seattle Tattoo Expo. And joining me here now is April Cornell, owner of Hidden Hand Tattoo and Alter Tattoo. Thank you so much for joining Seattle's Morning News. April, let's just first start out with tell us a little bit about you and tell us about your shops.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I have two tattoo shops, Hidden Hand Tattoo that has been in the Fremont neighborhood coming up on 20 years, and Alter Tattoo for the last 10 years in the Green Lake area on Roosevelt.
That's amazing. And what have you seen in the world of tattoos? Not only, it seems obviously more popular than it's ever been before, but what's changed in the world of tattooing over the last 20 years?
Well, I would say, over the last 20 years, and especially when the expo launched 25 years ago, we had 30 shops in attendance. And tattooing was still widely seen as counterculture. And now tattooing has exploded. There are shops and artists everywhere. 20 years ago, I knew every tattooer in every shop in the Seattle area. And now I am always hearing about artists and shops that I didn't know of before.
And how important is that, though, for the growth and for the acceptance of tattoos?
I think it's been great for the growth of tattooing. There is a bit of an oversaturation at this time, and there's a lot of different types of tattooing happening these days. But it's drawn in a lot of people who I think never would have considered getting tattooed before. There's a lot of different types of shops to choose from, and the artistry has grown quite a bit over the past 20 years.
Yeah, and here at the expo this weekend, we're talking about thousands of people coming out to check it out. And according to the press release we got here, about over 3,000 tattoos expected to be created this weekend. Is this an event that's a good spot for beginners? Say, I have tattoos. I have a couple now, but say you've been thinking about it. Maybe you're trying to find the right artist. Is this an event that's going to be good for someone looking for their first tattoo?
I think it is one of the best events for someone who is looking for their first tattoo because of how many artists are in attendance, around 400, and artists from all over the world, across the country, and a lot of local shops as well. So whether you are interested in getting a tattoo live at the expo or you're shopping artists in the Seattle and beyond Seattle area, then it's a great opportunity to meet artists, talk to artists, get a feel for what type of work they do, what their shops are about, and to really see everyone in one place.
How important is that relationship between the artist and the person getting the tattoo, doing that research and being comfortable and confident in that and saying, hey, this is the person I want to go with and create this piece?
It's such an intimate and personal connection that you have with your artist, especially if you're getting large work and you're seeing them for hours and hours and likely for years. Most of my clients I have been getting tattooed from me my entire career, and so we build really close connections and relationships with our clientele. And I would say most tattooers who've been doing this for a long time, your clients become almost like your extended family and also become your friends. So because it's such a close, intimate connection that you have with the person tattooing you, I think it's very important that you like the person you're getting tattooed by and creating just an overall amazing experience for you and for your artist as well.
How important is it for the artists? I mean, we're talking about it's a great opportunity for those looking to get their first tattoo. There's going to be tons of information. I mean, you can't ask for more information than a bunch of people and a bunch of different tattoo artists in one place for you to make a decision about getting a piece for yourself. But what about this exposure for the artist? I mean, you mentioned the oversaturation, but I have to imagine having something like this at this scale is great for artists to be able to get their work out in front of people.
Yeah, definitely. And I think a lot of artists like to attend expos to get the exposure for their shops or for their names and meeting a lot of clients. I've I've met, and I know a lot of tattooers who attend expos, meet clients that maybe you don't see that weekend or even in the months ahead, but I've had people come into my shop, that I met years ago who met me at the expo. And so it's definitely really great for exposure for artists, for sure.
Now, I've seen at Comic-Con specifically, I've seen the tattoo at an expo and at this. For someone maybe that might be a little hesitant, they're saying an expo, I'd be more comfortable maybe in the shop. This is a clean, sterile, it's all by the book, right? This is still a great spot for you to get a tattoo done the right way here at the Seattle Tattoo Expo.
Yes, absolutely. The health board is there to do all the checking before we're open and making sure that everyone has all the credentials. We take that very seriously. So it is definitely a safe place to get a tattoo. And yeah, if you are wanting to get a tattoo over the weekend, you can. And if that feels uncomfortable, then you can always book a tattoo at a local shop afterwards.
Well, April, is there anything about the expo that we haven't touched on or talked about that you'd like to highlight here before we go, or anything that people should be on the lookout for your shops or your artists?
There are contests. It's a family-friendly event. You can buy tickets at the door. A lot of artists do walk up, so you can certainly walk up and get a tattoo, but it is good to do some research in advance because a lot of artists do book in advance. So if there's someone you are specifically wanting to see, then I would check out SeattleTattooExpo.com, look at the artists, get a hold of them in advance. But you can certainly buy tickets the day of. You can walk up. We have food trucks. We have coffee. There's a beer garden. Kids 12 and under are free. So it is a family-friendly event. There's a lot of merchandise for sale. So lots of things to look at, lots of things to buy. And probably the best people watching in the city over the weekend.
I can believe that, and I'm sure some really, really impressive art too. The contests sound really interesting. The world of tattooing, obviously, very, very cool. April, thank you so much for your time here. Really appreciate it. April Cornell here on Seattle's Morning News, and don't miss her and all of the artists this weekend at the Seattle Tattoo Expo, running Friday through Sunday. Tickets still available here, and we'll make sure we have details for you on that on mynorthwest.com.
That's Paul Holden with our interview. It's 8:23 now. Time to check traffic every 10 minutes on the threes with Chris Sullivan.
And it looks like we might have actually now blocked a lane for this little fender bender that we've been talking about on northbound I-5 at 188th in the SeaTac area, because it had just been hanging out, minding its own business on the left shoulder. But now we have a pretty sizable backup behind it. So give yourself an hour now to go from Federal Way to Seattle. We've added a 10-minute delay right through there. And then the stuff at the north end's kind of intensified just a little bit past the West Seattle Bridge. Northbound 405, the Renton S-curves are active up to about 30th, but after that, it's not too bad till you get to I-90. Still have about 40 minutes from Renton to Bellevue. Spill over onto the Valley Freeway, definitely pretty heavy from about 212th and Kent. So that's why, even though the south end part of that drive has gotten better, it's still about 48 minutes to go from Puyallup to Renton. Most of Pierce County has cleared out nicely. Looking at the drive across Tiger Mountain, definitely seeing the slowing up the west slope up to the summit. The lake bridges are fine. Out of the north end, hour and 10-minute trips from Everett to Seattle or Bellevue. So we're getting there. And so let's try to keep from banging into each other for the next little bit, and we'll get through this. This report brought to you by Harbor Stone Credit Union, Omaha Money Market Special Online, with 3.75 annual percentage yield with full access to your money the entire time at harborstone.com/moneymarket, insured by NCUA.
If you have morning clouds, they are expected to burn off by later this afternoon. Partly to mostly sunny, a high of 75. Right now it's 63 in Seattle. Coming up, KIRO News Radio's Jillian Raftery reports on a big vote by the Seattle City Council to provide emergency funding for trans people coming to the city. And meteorologist Scott Sistek talks about the wildfire dangers, especially in eastern Washington. He has an extended forecast on the way on Seattle's Morning News.
KIRO News Radio, where you hear the John Curley Show, 3 to 7.
Katie Wilson, people still blasting away at her. There's a great, crazy play called The Actor's Nightmare. And the play goes this way. The actor is standing backstage, and all of a sudden, the stage manager goes, "You're on." And he walks into the scene. He didn't show up at any rehearsals, and he's just there, center stage. And the nightmare is, I have no idea what my line is.
Watch live or later on the John Curley Show's YouTube channel.
Summer is the time to feel and look your best, but I'm not talking about your abs or tan. Guys, I'm talking about your hair. Restore that bald spot, reverse your receding hairline, or add volume to thinning during Advanced Hair's once yearly summer savings event. Advanced Hair's simple one-day treatment begins to regrow your very own hair the very next day, and they guarantee your new hair will grow. They are the team that addressed my hair loss, and I recommend them to everyone. Take advantage of your flexible summer calendar and get the most hair for your dollar. Advanced Hair's summer sales event is on for a limited time. So get the details and schedule your free consultation today. 425-449-8185. One-day treatment, life-changing results. With Advanced Hair, your new hair is guaranteed to grow. Check out the incredible before and afters and make the call now while their summer savings event is still on. That's 425-449-8185 or advancedhair.com.
Did you know that nearly half the homes in Western Washington are not properly insulated or not insulated at all? That may be the reason why your home is way too hot in the summer and way too cold in the winter. It may also be the reason that your energy bills are sky high. Right now, Insulation Northwest is offering a free inspection of your home's insulation. This is a $199 value, and it's absolutely free, no obligation. Just call today, and Insulation Northwest will arrange a time that works with your schedule. We'll perform a thorough exam of your home's insulation and give you the advice you need to start saving thousands. Everyone who calls today will also receive a free infrared screening of your home using the latest technology. This will help reveal any hidden flaws in your home's protective energy blanket. What do you have to lose? It only takes about an hour, and it's absolutely free. Call Insulation Northwest today, the real insulation company.
InsulationNorthwest.com. At Guardian Roofing Gutters and Insulation, we stand by our quality gutters. Whether you need a cleaning or a complete gutter install, we do it all. Call today and get $250 off a gutter installation. And visit us at guardianroofing.com.
Summer calls for road travel across our region. Have you noticed more vehicles on our highways and local roads? Obviously, traffic in the city is going to be crowded, especially with the Ship Canal Bridge construction. But there have been a ton more people heading north on I-5 and east on I-90 for weekends and holidays than again on Sundays coming home. More people on the roads means more accidents. And if you're not careful, you'll find yourself on the shoulder exchanging information. If you're one of the unlucky ones or know a friend or family member, reverse your fortune by having Harold Carr Law Offices deal with insurance. While you're resting, receiving physical therapy, and taking time off work, Harold Carr Law Offices will negotiate with insurance on your behalf while compiling necessary paperwork and getting you the best recovery possible. 7 locations across Western Washington and a track record of success for their clients. Carr is spelled with 2 R's. C-A-R-R. CarLaw.com. C-A-R-R. Car accident? Call Carr.
I was walking my dog. I fell and ended up with 3 tears in my meniscus. I was sent to a surgeon, and they said the only way to get this fixed is to have surgery. That just wasn't an option. I didn't want to jump into surgery without trying anything else.
I'm Dr. Mark Shelley, a chiropractic neurologist at Sound Pain Solutions. We offer Jamie an alternative to the downtime and potential risks associated with invasive knee surgery. At Sound Pain Solutions, we help patients like Jamie avoid the side effects of painkillers, cortisone injections, and pain following surgery. Our comprehensive approach includes treatments like pressure wave, PRP, and advanced laser. These treatments reduce pain and restore mobility naturally. Now Jamie is able to do everything she enjoys without pain.
I'm grateful for being able to wake up every day and not be in pain. To be able to go about my day has been amazing.
Schedule a free consultation to learn if you qualify for our non-surgical and drug-free joint treatments at soundpainsolutions.com.
Are you looking for the best deal on a new home? Discover the D.R. Horton Home of the Week. With new home communities from Lacey to Stanwood, ranging from the low 500s to the high 1 millions, D.R. Horton has the right home at the best value for you. Your new home is within reach, so what are you waiting for? Learn more about the D.R. Horton Home of the Week. Visit drhorton.com and schedule a tour today. D.R. Horton, America's builder, an equal housing opportunity builder.
Anthony Hamilton with Tony, live in the Tulalip Amphitheater, Thursday, September 10th. Tickets are on sale now. Details at TulalipCasino.com.
Spike O'Neill here. If your loved one's caregiver is planning a vacation or just needs a break, why not consider Aegis Living Respite Care? A short-term stay that provides 24/7 expert care, Aegis Living amenities, and peace of mind for you and your family. Go to aegisliving.com/spike to schedule a visit today.
Now, the latest from KIRO Newsradio and MyNorthwest.com.
Live from East Lake Avenue,
Seattle's Morning News.
Good morning, I'm Charlie Harger. Seattle City Council is pitching in $300,000 to help ease what some are calling a trans refugee crisis. KIRO News Radio's Jillian Raftery joins me live. Jillian, when they're saying this is a refugee crisis, what do they mean?
Advocates with community organizations say thousands of people are moving to Seattle, and they're saying it's out of desperation because red states have grown increasingly hostile to trans and queer people, making it just untenable to stay where they are. So they hear about Seattle as this beacon of liberalism, and they come here. Aaron says they were a victim of the hundreds of bills in state legislatures that have rolled back workplace protections and even housing protections. They lost their job in the Dakotas and came here.
It's hard enough to find consistent work as a trans person, especially when there's more variety in a chip aisle than the city's job market. I did, however, find community, and I would not be standing here today if it wasn't for this.
This is a hard thing to track. I couldn't find hard numbers describing the issue, but nonprofits say they've been helping people with basic needs and they're tapped out. If you look online, you can find a lot of groups have published guides on how to move to Seattle. There are even forums online. The city's LGBTQ commission asked for a civil emergency to be declared. They didn't get that, but they did get this one-time funding from the city council. Quite a few people were there to object, questioning why a small group of people is getting this funding.
Just don't fully understand the term refugee, and I think it's disparaging to true refugees from other countries that need support, need funding. I don't know why Seattle taxpayers are, footing the bill for people to move within the same country.
Ultimately, it did pass, again, unanimously. One-time funding. The Human Services Department will give out grants to those community organizations.
Jillian Raftery reporting live and at City Hall today. Well, we better call it Kitty Hall. Seattle Animal Shelter hosting its annual Kitty Hall adoption event. Goes from 11:30 this morning until 1:30 in the afternoon at the Bertha Knight Landis Room. You can meet adoptable cats and kittens and even vote for a feline kitty council president. Cats adopted at the event can go home with their new families the same day. It's 8:33 now, and again, I hope our news director, Frank, is listening because I believe it's almost a duty that we send James Lynch to go see.
Without
Kitty
question,
Hall.
James Lynch needs to cover this. I don't think anyone would give this the treatment it deserves.
Yeah.
Quite like James Lynch, our reporter who's on his way from West Seattle right now.
Yeah, but
excited
there's
to
one
see the
thing I know.
assignment.
One thing I know,
What is
he
that?
loves cat stories.
Yeah, he loves animal stories in general.
Just warm and fuzzy stuff. That's what James is all about.
No, that's what he's known for. The hardened crime reporter that he is. That's really, this is his bailiwick.
Gotta send him. All right, Sully, what's it looking like in traffic right now?
Well, some positive news at SeaTac. Now that the emergency vehicles have moved on, the HOB lane is back open again past this little fender bender we had on northbound I-5 at 188th in SeaTac. So things are getting better there. We're back under an hour again from Federal Way to Seattle. Valley Freeway back under 50 minutes. Some brake lights past past the 18 and then at the north end. And then Renton to Bellevue's back under 40. That's great. I mean, the S-curves are active, but the further north you go, they're not too bad, even past I-90. Speaking of 90, it and 520 are both in great shape. An hour and 10-minute trips from Everett to Seattle or Bellevue, kind of an average day for you guys, maybe a little better. Eastbound 18 over Tiger Mountain, though, is its normal heavy self as you work your way down over to I-90. This report brought to you by Home Comfort Alliance, heating, air conditioning, plumbing, and electrical. Home Comfort Alliance, repairs first, replacing only if it makes sense. Ask about a heat pump for year-round comfort. Get real pricing in 60 seconds at homecomfortalliance.com.
Partly to mostly sunny this afternoon with a high of 75. Right now, it's 63 in Seattle.
This is the city's longest-running radio news show, Seattle's Morning News on KIRO News Radio.
weather over the last week has been much nicer than the week before with all that smoke we had. Better air quality, some nice sunshine, but we may not be out of the woods yet. Let's call up meteorologist Scott Sistek from the Emerald City Weather blog. Good morning, Scott. Are we expecting a lot of lightning coming up in the next day or two?
And the next day, not around Seattle. It's up in the Cascades and maybe a little bit in the Olympics. You have like a really weak system that's kind of cutting through British Columbia, and it's not really going to bring like any like rain or gloomy days or anything like that. But it will be just enough to make the atmosphere unstable in the mountains and into eastern Washington that we could see some lightning later today into the afternoon. And it's right, like you said, it's right where we don't want it to be. It's looking like kind of the North Cascades and kind of over into the northern third of eastern Washington is how I was calling it. So like the Okanagan area, like even into Chelan and all that. And then there is even a chance of some lightning over the Olympics today. And I don't want to discount that too. So of course, it's been so dry lately. It's been so warm. And we've already seen all the fire danger we've had. It's like the last thing we need is to add lightning into the mix.
And we also have a red flag warning as a bonus. What's going on there?
Right. That's basically a fancy term for a fire weather warning. And that's kind of just alerting everybody in that zone that conditions are ripe to not only start fires, but that they could rapidly spread if one is started, or that even currently burning fires can also start rapidly spreading. And usually it's because of a mixture of three things, either lightning or it's windy or it's dry and hot. And we've kind of got, and it's low humidity. That's another big thing. And we've got all the ingredients together. Not for Seattle. Seattle's fine. It's mostly northeastern Washington, like the northern section of eastern Washington.
What's your best guess in terms of smoke for Seattle in the coming week?
The models show that we may actually get a little bit of smoke aloft in here later today and into the rest of this week. It's not going to be as bad as it was. What was that now, a week ago? But it doesn't look like it's going to be on the ground. So we're not looking at any like air quality concerns like in the Seattle and Puget Sound area. Maybe kind of hazy out there. I know that's kind of poor timing. We've got the big meteor shower tonight. And the weather, like the clouds didn't do so well last night, maybe better tonight, but the smoke may kind of haze everything out. Once that gets here, the air pattern is going to go kind of stagnant for a while. So for Seattle and the Puget Sound core area, you're kind of in a silo. The weather is pretty nice for the next, several days here. It's going to be like very summer normal, some morning clouds, and then the sun's out and upper 70s, maybe 80, but it will be kind of hazy. All of our concerns are tending to like mostly the mountains in eastern Washington.
I'm looking at the extended forecast. I don't see much precipitation at all. And again, like you said, highs in the 70s and low 80s. That's pretty pleasant for this time of year.
Yeah, if we could just freeze Seattle into that, lock it in and take away all the other, wildfire stuff that's going on around it, it'd actually be a really nice time here. There is something kind of in the long range model. So like we're talking next week, middle of next week and beyond. Maybe like another like some showers in here. It's still kind of uncertain. Earlier, if you would have asked me like over the weekend what the end of this week was going to be like, it was trending hot. Like we were thinking mid 80s, maybe pushing 90, and that all went away. So now we're kind of in this cruise control upper 70s. So next week we're also kind of looking at it like, okay, really, but if it gets like a little weak weather systems in here, that's fine for us. It's cloudy. It's maybe upper 60s, low 70s, but that could introduce lightning back into the equation. It could also introduce wind back into the equation in eastern Washington. So it's still not good. We're not out of the woods yet. I think we're really going to have to get through September and get kind of into a rainy season and start getting some real rain and more frequent rain in here before we really can kind of like let our guard down.
We're speaking with Scott Sistek from the Emerald City Weather blog. Scott, we mentioned this briefly last week, also had a conversation with your fellow meteorologist, Ted Biener, about it. And that is we're on this slow downward slope in terms of high temperatures. Refresh us. What does that mean?
Right. So as of last Monday, our average high temperature in Seattle dropped from 79 to 78, which doesn't sound like a whole lot, but it's just more what it means because we've started the downward trend in our average high temperatures that, will eventually bottom out sometime in January. But so it's like, okay, well, that's one more step toward fall. I said we already lost the 9 o'clock sunsets. That happened a while ago. The first week of August was the driest day of the year. Now we're starting the slow trend toward our rainy season. Like the odds of rain creep up just a little bit each day. And now the temperatures are starting their downward trend. So I know I posted this on my blog on Monday about how we've started it, and it just blew up. I've had on Facebook almost 1,000 comments. So I think, and vast majority of them are ready for autumn. We're done with not all. There are a lot of people who are like, no, I want this to be sunny and 78 for like months. But, and I want to make sure those people out there, that's fine. That's good that they're out there too. But there were a lot of people ready for fall.
Meteorologist Scott Sistek from Emerald City Weather blog, emeraldcityweather.com. Scott, thanks for your time this morning.
Sure thing.
And I'm just looking at the chat on our YouTube live, Sully, and we have a listener named Tina. She's a lot like Scott. She likes it gray and kind of rainy. So I think a lot of people are over this weather. I am not one of them, but I want to recognize you have a valid point of view. What's coming up in traffic?
Well, we're going to take a look at the slowing we continue to have past the 188th corridor at SeaTac. We'll break it down for you next.
Dear Ursula, I have a group of friends who have bonded over...
Hi, I'm Ursula Voitin from the G and Ursula Show, and I'm launching a new podcast called Ask Ursula. This is your space. Real life, real questions, whether it's about family, friendships, love, and yes, even the fun stuff like travel and finding your signature scent. Hit me up and ask your questions at mynorthwest.com/Ursula. I look forward to connecting with you.
At mynorthwest.com and the G and Ursula YouTube channel.
Eric Johnson here. I spent the past 30 years working to help make our community better informed, better protected when it comes to consumer issues, and better equipped to take on whatever life throws at us. That's why I love the free Washington Accident book series from Davis Law Group. These books keep us better informed about the law, better able to protect ourselves on and off the road, and better off when all is said and done after an accident. Chris Davis didn't have to write these books. He did it because he saw a need. People who were in accidents or other legal situations didn't know what to do, what pictures to take, documents to request. Only a tiny fraction of the people who get these 3 books will ever become clients of Davis Law Group, but that's not the point. Chris wrote them because it was the right thing to do. The free Washington Accident book series is a must-have for drivers who want to be prepared for whatever the road might throw at them. Get yours at WashingtonAccidentBooks.com.
Clogged gutters? Not anymore. K-Guard by Guardian keeps leaves out, water flowing, and your home protected year-round. No maintenance, no rust, just lasting peace of mind. Guardian Roofing, the original Make Your Roof Last company. Visit GuardianRoofing.com.
This is it. These are the nights. The ones where you laugh until you can't anymore. And smile until your head hits the pillow. Where everything feels just right. Because it is. Muckleshoot Casino Resort. Must be 21 and over. Please gamble responsibly.
8:43, we check traffic on the 3s with Chris Sullivan.
We continue to deal with the slowing on northbound I-5 past the Kent-Des Moines Road up into the SeaTac area, where we had this little fender bender that for a while had some emergency vehicles with it blocking the HOV lane. All the lanes have reopened, but we still have a couple of minutes worth of a delay to deal with there. And then you have the normal stuff from the middle of Boeing Field past the West Seattle Bridge into downtown. And we're still rolling at about an hour to go from Federal Way to Seattle. So we've added a few more minutes to that drive. You look down to the valley to the east, and we're in pretty good shape. We're under 45 minutes from Puyallup to Renton and trending towards 40. The heaviest spot there inside of 180th now, as you would imagine, tying into 405 going through the ramp meters. 405 itself back under 40 minutes, probably closer to 35 now. The S-curves are really the only part that are really active. After that, it's just an under the speed limit drive, but not by much, all the way up into South Bellevue. Looking at the lake bridges, we're still in very good shape. No problems there. Coming down from the north end, unfortunately, we've added about 10 minutes to the drive on southbound I-5. We're now up to about an hour and 20 to go from Everett to Seattle, about an hour and 10 from Everett to Bellevue. And I'm also looking for a crash right around the Tulalip Outlet Mall, just south of 88th on southbound 5. We've kind of gone all red there as well really quickly. So I'll check into that and see what I can find out and tell it to you in 10 minutes. KIRO Newsradio Real-Time Traffic, I'm Chris Sullivan.
We're headed for a high in the mid-70s today. I'm already seeing some sun breaks above Seattle and out across Elliott Bay. We're expecting a low overnight in the upper 50s. Tomorrow, upper 70s. Right now in Seattle, it is 63. Coming up, G. Scott stops by. Episode 2 of Hard Knocks with the Seahawks is out. And G has some big thoughts on the way on Seattle's Morning News.
It's Olympic Hot Tub's 49th birthday, and you get the gifts. Big savings on saltwater hot spring spas, plus free Bluetooth music and interest-free financing for 3 years. OlympicHotTub.com. Better you, better life.
It is summertime, which means sunshine, baseball games, beach trips, hiking, fun with the family, and Brad, I'll bet it's easier to pay for with free checking from WaFd Bank.
That's right, Dave. Set your financial goals and stick to them with free checking. No minimum balances or monthly maintenance fees to worry about. Hey, you'll also get spending tools to help you stay on top of your budget. Not only is WaFd Bank rated the best bank, we have more than 200 branches to serve you across 9 western states.
And tell me more about this card control feature I've heard so much about.
Dave, you can view transactions for individual cards, set controls and alerts, and if you forget your card at the restaurant, you can instantly turn it off while you go back to get it. You'll also have access to free tools like Zelle, mobile check deposit, and when those unfortunate times happen, submit fraud disputes right inside the WaFd mobile app.
And don't forget, you can choose from some great-looking debit cards, including Seattle Kraken and Seattle Seawolves cards. So visit WaFdBank.com and open your account today. Non-sufficient funds charges may apply. Member FDIC.
I like it hot.
Beg your pardon?
Can you make it hot for me, Dan?
I think so.
Half heated ain't hot enough.
No.
That's why I called you.
Apollo Plumbing.
Yeah, my sorry old water heater.
Oh.
Ain't getting me the hots anymore.
You want hot water.
That's what I said.
That's what we do at Apollo Plumbing.
And you're ready?
Right now.
When can you?
How about today?
Same day?
We'll have you in hot water tonight.
Clever. How about an upgrade?
A tankless water heater would mean endless hot water.
Now you're cooking.
That's just for starters.
Starters?
How about we make it a worry-free water heater?
Worry-free?
Wrenchie's worry-free warranty.
Which covers?
Repair, service, all included.
And when it wears out?
Apollo replaces it.
No extra charge?
Nothing.
Nil?
Nada. As an Apollo A-list member, you're covered.
And payments?
To fit your budget with approved credit, of course.
And I'm hot again.
Worry-free.
That's for me.
We're on our way.
Thanks for making it hot.
We're ApolloPlumbing.com.
The Boeing Classic welcomes the world's greatest golf legends to the Pacific Northwest, August 14th through the 16th at the club at Snoqualmie Ridge. Watch Masters champions and Golf Hall of Famers compete for a $2.3 million purse at the only PGA Tour champion stop in the region. Bring the whole family and make sure to check out the Seahawks Village, packed with fun for all ages. Tickets start at just $20 and kids get in free. Visit BoeingClassic.com to get yours today.
Looking for a simple solution to hair loss this summer? Get the same breakthrough one-day treatment I received at Advanced Hair during their once yearly summer savings event. Your own natural hair begins to regrow the very next day, and Advanced Hair guarantees it will grow. Take advantage of your flexible summer calendar and get the most hair for your dollar during their best offer of the year. For details and a free consultation, call 425-449-8185, advancedhair.com.
Seattle's morning news. Hear it live, stream it online, watch the show, or catch the podcast anytime on mynorthwest.com.
Well, here he is from the G and Ursula Show every weekday on KIRO Newsradio, also the host of the Reset podcast. G. Scott, before we get to Hard Knocks, we've been having a discussion this morning. I'm wondering if you could weigh in on this.
Come on.
City Hall from 11:30 to 1:30 today. They have Kitty Hall, a cat adoption event. And I'm just curious. We've been talking. We think we should send James Lynch to cover it. What do you think? Would this be a perfect event for James Lynch to be at? A nice, lighthearted romp with kittens?
All right. Can I just say something that I would say off the air?
Okay.
All right. And this is it's a family tree, so you guys
no one's listening
right now. Nobody's listening right now. Yeah. If you guys sent James Lynch there, we would hear so many F-bombs on the way there. And so since this is a cat event, I don't know if there's any way that any of those cats can say the F-bomb back in meow.
We gotta say, James is an upstanding man. He's a great man, great character.
Great crime reporter. I mean, he's great. I mean, and look, and Sully's by Sully. You already know what would James Lynch say on his way?
Yeah, I got time for that. with a choice expletive here and there. I sit right next to him. And again, now to be fair, we all have salty mouths being news people for hours and hours.
Yes.
But James is a particular variety.
Yeah.
We love him.
All right. Hard Knocks on HBO. Episode 2 came out yesterday.
Yeah.
It is following the Seahawks in this preseason training camp. What are some of your takeaways, G?
Everybody talks about recruiting NFL free agents like it starts and ends with money, right? Everybody says things like, well, what about this tax, or what about all these things? And I just got to tell you that that's not the case. Here's the thing. Those players, NFL players, the top ones that are recruited with teams and stuff like that, they all got money. There's something that separates teams from others. In the Seahawks right now, every Tuesday night for 50 minutes in front of the world, they are sharing that sauce. The Seahawks got that sauce right now. You guys see it. Not only do you see, I'm not just talking about the Space Needle. I'm not talking about when they show downtown Seattle. I'm not talking about when they show the setting that, by the way, that the Seahawks practice facility is the best practice setting in all of NFL football. You guys see it, whether you are a Seahawk fan or not. You're going to look at that, and I've talked to some agents recently that is like, hey, man, Seattle really got that sauce right now. I'm not just talking about the facility. I'm talking about the people that you see on display. The interaction, by the way, if you guys haven't seen it, I think right now what was the best part of episode 2 is the interaction and how coach and player, you can see and feel the respect that is had amongst each other. I thought the real authentic all of it's authentic, but the authentic banter back and forth with JSN and his wide receiver coach. And it's funny. Do you know in real life that's his man right there. Yeah. That's just how he is. Like, you know, it's so, and you're like, oh, that's Matt? Yeah, that's Matt for him. He is such a really good-hearted, good-natured person, and I'm so glad that America, not just Seahawks fans, America gets to see it.
It is funny because they set it up in the episode. The narrator of the show, Liev Schreiber, who is great. He's done the show, narrated the show every single season. He sets it up by saying something like, friction within the team, and then you see this scene of JSN talking to his wide receiver coach, and yeah, it is essentially just a conversation. They're joking around, but it's kind of played off as there's, JSN getting angry, and it's like, nah, man, this guy is a class act. Yeah. He's not furious. He's not a diva. Yeah. He is just everything you want in a star player.
Now, Charlie, I've been waiting to talk to you because I was thinking about something.
Okay.
And I was wondering if you might do it.
Yes.
After watching Derek Hall and watching what he wears, I was thinking to myself, and I said, Self, would Charlie Harger wear the tight shorts like Derek Hall? Tight, short shorts.
Are we talking like Speedo or?
Nah, not Speedo. But they,
because that's
like a
territory.
4-inch inseam.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, 4-inch.
Yeah. Ooh. I don't think I could. Don't. I'm too modest.
Please don't.
Sully?
Look at the look on Sully's face.
Sully,
He's thinking of
you can do a 4-incher?
No, 9 is where I go. That's why it's so hard to find my Under Armour stuff that I wear to the gym. Everything's 6. I like stuff that kind of goes down the thigh a little bit.
Here's my last takeaway before you guys give me the Manda kick out.
Yeah, she's already on the line.
Right now, Seattle on display. They're not just showing just football. They're showing culture. They're showing winning. They're showing quality of life. They're showing football being done differently than you have seen on HBO's Hard Knocks. Because before, you would always see, respectfully, losing teams on HBO's Hard Knocks. And so you would see the riffraff, and you'd see, I see why the Jets is always on this thing and y'all losing. You know what I'm saying? But now you guys are seeing winning culture, and you're seeing why.
Manda, I know. See, I had to put her on hold.
Yeah.
She says you are excused. I would keep you here all morning long, G.
All right. See y'all.
Time to check in with Sully for traffic.
All right, here's what's going on up in the Marysville area, right around 88. The right lane is blocked. This is for scheduled maintenance from 8:30 to, I think, 3:30 today. And it could be this every day through the 20th as they do some work in the right lane. So expect some late slowing through Marysville the next week or so as we work through this. But that's what's happening up there. You get through that, you got about an hour and 15-minute trip from Everett to Seattle, about an hour from Everett to Bellevue. Back under 50 minutes now from Federal Way to Seattle. So we're getting there. Valley Freeway's closer to 40. 35 up the 405 corridor. The Lake Bridges continue to be in good shape. This report brought to you by Subaru Puyallup during the Subaru Lot to Love event now through August 31st. Enjoy great financing. Select new cars at Subaru Puyallup. Visit SubaruPuyallup.com, your stress-free dealership.
We'll have partly sunny skies, 63 are high. Coming up on G and Ursula, Seattle City Council member Bob Kettle joins the show to discuss two big votes in the council this week. That's next on KIRO Newsradio.
Choke Points with Chris Sullivan.
With Choke Points, we try to answer listeners' questions. It can be as simple as a neighborhood stop sign, or it can be as big as the budget for transportation. I don't care. I'll find the answer for you. It's really easy to get a hold of me at mynorthwest.com. We have a direct link there that gets right to me. You can also do it in the app. You can hit me up on the text line.
Choke Points, presented by Carter Subaru. Tuesdays and Thursdays on KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM, KIRO FM, and HD1, Tacoma, Seattle.
Someone had a birthday.
Yep, 50. Can't believe it.
50 years of wisdom.
Great segue. We have a health reminder from the CDC.
Pneumococcal vaccination is recommended for adults 50 or older. Says here, we're over 6 times more likely to be hospitalized with pneumococcal pneumonia than adults under 50.
I don't love those odds.
Same. Look what I found. Pfizer's Prevnar 20 is proven to help protect adults against pneumococcal pneumonia and invasive pneumococcal disease in just 1 dose, and millions have already gotten it.
Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you have a severe allergy to its ingredients. A weakened immune system may lower your response. Common side effects include injection site pain and swelling, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138. Visit Prevnar20.com or talk to your doctor or pharmacist.
I'm on Prevnar20.com now, scheduling my appointment.
Good idea. And happy 50th.
Welcome to this week's Puget Sound Express Whale Report. Here's a number worth sitting with, 12. 12 different families of Big's killer whales were in our waters last week, according to naturalists from Puget Sound Express. They report that the T65As and T77 families hunted together at Partridge Bank. The T46 and T124A2s worked the shoreline near Bush Point, and the T36s and T137As ranged all the way from Tacoma to Waldron Island. All 12 families, like all orcas, have their own history and way of moving through the sea, and it's an incredible gift that we get to share these waters with them. Family-run Puget Sound Express offers daily guaranteed whale watching tours departing from Edmonds. These are Seattle's most popular and well-reviewed whale tours. Orcas, humpbacks, minke whales, and so much more. Don't miss out on your chance to see whales in the wild. Puget Sound Express guarantees you'll see whales or your next trip is absolutely free. Book online at PugetSoundExpress.com.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Call 877-CARS for Kids to reach a friendly live agent. Donation is super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Call us now or go to carsforkids.org.
Donate your car today.
Did you know you can donate real estate too?
Do you need glasses or contacts and you're now at the age where you also need readers? K2 Vision RLE is the permanent solution to eliminate the need for all those. Hey, it's Doctors King and Kopstein from K2 Vision. Andy, for those nearing age 50 or so, refractive lens exchange can be a great alternative to LASIK.
That's right, Joe. K2 Vision RLE is a terrific permanent solution for a lifetime of great vision. The older we get, we experience the dysfunction of our natural lens, which affects both distance vision and requires the use of reading glasses. Plus, after K2 Vision RLE, you will never develop a cataract.
And like LASIK, K2 Vision RLE is quick and painless. The question is, which procedure is right for you?
With the experience of over 150,000 procedures, the doctors at K2 Vision will know which procedure is best for you. Schedule your free Zoom consultation today at k2visionrle.com. K2 Vision RLE. No readers, glasses, contacts, or cataracts.
Guys, your testosterone level impacts your energy, drive, weight, hair loss, and even ED. Revive Men's Health Seattle will check your T level for free.